episode, the part of Kiki will be played by Raven. Kiki, instead, will be enjoying a nice birthday vacation. The role of editor will still be played by Kiki. Enjoy. Welcome to episode 24 of the Super Happy Fun Atrocity Party with Raven and Bone.
Oh, hi, everybody.
Oh, hi, guys. So, yeah, I gotta find my cup. I need my magic pink cup of ultimate destiny.
Are there two girls to go with that one cup?
Oh, God, I wish.
I'm sorry.
That chocolate soft serve.
I'm
so good.
sorry. Okay, so, sorry.
This is gonna be fun to edit.
I don't envy you on that task, actually.
I'll do it tomorrow afterwards.
But he did not want a liar.
We were redoing voicemails at work, and it was, right, and, but because we were actually doing a full step-by-step, press 1 if you're looking to do this, press 2 if you're looking to do this, and the person that we don't hire any professional voice talent, we just get we have the manager with the sweetest voice doing all of our voice recording.
Hi, this is Rage. Thanks for calling, Beth Bark.
Actually, I'm really disappointed because we have a young female who does most of our voices, but surprisingly,
Yeah.
it's one of the IT people who, in my opinion, has the best voice because he can do the perfect movie phone voice.
This is Movie Phone.
Hello, thank you for calling Movie Phone. But it's spot on. It's it's like the perfect recorded announcer voice. I love it, and I really wish that they would let him do all the voice recording. But
That would be great.
But they won't.
Yeah, they have no sense of humor.
No sense of humor
Goddamn
whatsoever.
Dead in the side corporations.
But yeah, so basically she did all of her recording in one take, repeating everything, never turned off the recorder
got
to
the
do
one she
all the
liked.
sections. It was it was just one.
She did one whole
long,
take of all
right.
the stuff.
I took it was like I had to sift through 40 minutes of recording to get the 3 minutes of actual.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, so I had to step by step and go and find each take. Oh, and of course she had to insert. She didn't think that it was me who was going to be doing the editing. It was a movie phone voice guy that she thought was going to be doing the editing. So she inserted a bunch of cheesy jokes.
Oh God.
Which I don't know why she didn't appreciate the fact that I was the one who listened to him, since I obviously gave her the most crap about it.
Oh yeah.
Actually, one of the jokes was about pizza.
Yeah.
I have to warn you, it's a little cheesy. just cut. Right.
There's so much ham on that pizza.
Comedy police.
It's like the vegan police.
Oh God.
You ate Oreos. I'm sorry, no. You ate Twinkies. You're not vegan anymore. What? Twinkies contain gelatin. Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Last Thursday, you had chicken fettuccine Alfredo. Chicken isn't vegan?
Exactly.
Ah.
So yeah, unfortunately, Kiki couldn't make it tonight because, well, Kiki's dumb and she has family things to do. Like, I don't even know. She's baking a cake for somebody. I'm just like, ugh. You're so domestic, Kiki.
You know, at this point, I can't even fault people for that. Getting older sucks.
Don't give her credit.
Why?
You're supposed to give her shit though. She cries. It's the whole point of this.
I'm a lot calmer from a year ago.
Damn it.
Not that much calmer, but some. Maybe I have more empathy for the domestic and people who actually take care of the responsibilities that they are given.
Yes. So I've learned a valuable lesson. Don't put seafoam in your gas tank and starter fluid in your carburetor and pull the lawnmower start cord
What
at
happens?
the same time.
What happens?
Apparently the lawnmower's carburetor shoots a flame about 6 feet long, and it leaves a big scorch mark on the side of your garage.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, apparently they're both petroleum-based starter products, and you're not supposed to use them together, but no one told me that. And we had gasoline in the lawnmower from last fall, and I was like, yeah, I should probably put something in there to make it actually start since we forgot the stabilizer.
Oh, gosh. That is...
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. There wasn't I took the old gasoline out of the tank, out of the little tank thing.
Yeah.
But it was like it had like gone into the engine, so I was basically trying to get the old gasoline out of the engine itself, and that's why I did that because I wanted to make sure it would start.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no one told me how much starter fluid you're supposed to use, so I just sprayed for like a second into the intake.
I understand it's not much.
No, just like psh, I'm like that should be good. I took a couple tablespoons of seafoam and tossed that in to help basically clear out the intakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cleared out the intakes. I also basically shot a flame. Like, I was like, what the hell was that? Because, I pulled the thing down, pulled the cord. And
nitrous lawnmower.
It's like, whoosh. Like,
coming to a strip race near you.
I let go of the thing and it's like, wow, I hope it doesn't do that again. So, the next time I'm gun shy, I'm like, and it didn't do it. I was like, oh, thank God. I was a flamethrower.
6 horsepower motor. 0 to 60 in 15 seconds.
Pretty much. So I watched through season 1 of Code Geass. Yeah, I forgot how crazy the last 6 episodes are.
It's been a long time since I've seen that.
Yeah. Originally I meant to sit down and watch it with you, but I just I wanted to get to season 2, so I just started watching. Really, honestly, you can sum up the first 20 episodes as Zero wages a terrorist cell war against a major, military superpower.
I thought that you could sum it up as Zero plays chess.
Yeah, pretty much.
Don't they have isn't there a giant robot making pizza in that show?
Yes, both in the first and the second season.
Pizza. Sorry.
The better part is I had forgotten the part where the girl, the nerdy girl that's in the student council with him, is the one. She's like a proxy for Oppenheimer, and she develops that universe's equivalent to a nuclear weapon, something that no one had up until that point, but she's figured out how to do it.
Wait, they have no nuclear power. How do they power the suits?
Energy fillers. I'm guessing a fusion reaction, but I don't think it's that.
How do you get fusion before nuclear?
I have no clue.
Okay.
They have sometimes they have these giant batteries. They're fuel cells.
Okay.
They have to change them every 20 minutes during combat. That's what I was like. It's these are not a long-term tank solution when you have to change the energy tanks every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
This is a run out, a SWAT operation. Go in, do something, get out before your tanks run out.
Yeah, you've got you'd have to have your drop. You'd have to have your drop ship, and then you'd have to have your pickup ships en route.
Yeah. To
pick you up and drop the fresh load and pick you guys up to get you out of there. Which as far as battle mech operations would go, I mean, it's not a bad way to go about it. It's just not optimal.
Well, it's really interesting too because the mass produced. It's kind of like a Gundam. The mass produced suits are not nearly as massive as the one-offs. Legitimately, the two major suits, the Gawain and the Lancelot, are humongous compared to the mass produced grunt suits. I don't know what they call them, Staffords or something like that. They're named after English towns as far as I can tell.
Okay.
Except for the main the super what they call the test suits, the super suits, the Gundams are all named after Knights of the Round Table.
Okay.
Lancelot, Gawain. I think eventually the ultimate suit is the Arthur? Yeah.
Okay.
They name they're all test suits for the final super suit that I think they eventually build. And I think basically they're there's four or five main knights that were his lieutenants end up being the different test suits, and then I've never seen season 2, but supposedly at some point in season 2 they build the final suit, and it's the Arthur or the
that makes sense.
Percival or I don't even know.
And I apologize right now for eating. I had a late lunch and no dinner. It was a very hectic day at work.
Oh yeah. had Mongolian barbecue for lunch. And that was
I haven't been.
awesome.
I haven't been to BC's in a long time.
I just decided to go for shits and giggles. Like, I was going to go get McDonald's for lunch. And I was like, I haven't been to Mongolian in a while. I'll do that.
Yeah, I avoid fast food whenever possible.
I don't have that problem anymore. Mostly because I don't eat very much.
Yeah, I've noticed you've lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, I'm sitting on the 210 mark right now, and I'm just like, I want to go lower. I must go lower for great justice.
Yeah.
The fun thing is I'm still fat. I don't feel thin. I'm still fat, but, like, I'm less fat. I don't feel less fat, but I am less fat. Because
it's a start.
it's that moment of zen when you put on your pants, your shorts from last summer. There's 6 inches of room in the front, and you're like, God damn, what the hell happened?
Well, you were fat before.
Yeah.
Now you're just less fat. Fatty. McFetterson.
Yeah. Even at 210. I mean, like, BMI isn't actually a good measurement, but it still makes me laugh. It's like, I dropped 45 pounds. And, I checked the BMI at 210 because I was just curious. Because I was like, I must have dropped some, right?
Yeah.
I was 255. I had a 34 BMI. And I'm like, okay, that's really bad. Because, like, 30 is like, you're severely overweight. You're going to die of diabetes in the next 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, 210, I should have dropped at least, you know. Like, yeah, I'm thinking like 4 or 5, right? I gotta be in the high 20s. 31. You know when I drop below 30? When I'm 180 pounds. Fuck that shit.
That's insane.
Yes, because apparently, like, people at 5'10", which is what I am, like, the actual, like, the normal weight is, like, in, like, the 150s, and I'm like, yeah, that's bullshit.
There's a... I look at those numbers, and
I think it's for somebody who's, like, smaller than I am, because, like...
Well, okay, I'm 5'7", and if I remember correctly, my weight is supposed to be somewhere between, like, 125 and 145.
Yeah, 145
depending
is like 20 something.
Right, depending on your bone structure, and I've got a light frame.
Yeah.
So I should be like hugging 130.
Yeah.
When I was in peak physical condition,
You weren't even close.
I wasn't even close. I was 138. This is peak physical condition.
Yeah.
I had like a 8% body fat percentage. Yeah. I was ripped as hell.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm not anymore, sadly.
When I was a swimmer in high school, the lowest I ever was, when I was basically in like the best shape of my life, was 165.
Yeah, I'm not sure like what time frame these numbers are based off of, but if you have any muscle mass whatsoever, muscle's heavy.
Yeah.
Muscle is very heavy. It's dense.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to, like, hit what these healthy ratios are. No,
well, it's like the healthy waist size for a guy my size is a 32-inch waist, and I'm like, dude, holy fuck.
Yeah, my waist size, once again, my waist size in peak physical condition was 29.
Yeah. Well, I think anybody in the low 30s, like 30, 31, 32.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're below 30, like, I think you're like average height.
It's also hard to find
5'6" to 6'0".
It's also hard to find pants of the correct size for anything below a 32-inch waist.
Well, yeah, because I thought the average waist size was a 32, and I thought that was like 32 isn't bad.
Yeah, I wish I had a 32-inch waist again.
I mean, I was a 34 in high school, and I thought, like, damn, you know, I'm kind of overweight, but not bad.
Yeah, I'm a 34 now.
Yeah. Well, fuck, I'm a 38, and I haven't been that since the end of high school. Oh, no, wait, no. That was 36 at the end of high school. I was a 38 at the middle of college. I've been basing it off of the last time I was this size kind of thing. It's like...
Yeah.
It's absolutely hilarious to put on the 44s that I barely fit into and have, like, just a shit ton of space. Like, what?
Fantastic.
No, it's absolutely hilarious. Even my pops was just like, oh my god, you were getting so fat, I didn't know what to say. I'm like, why didn't you tell me to stop fucking eating? He's like, well, you were under a lot of stress. I was worried that you would crack like a fucking egg if I said anything. I'm like, probably fair.
Yeah. Life is hard, bro.
I'm always stressed out, but I guess he kind of had a point.
It's the human condition.
Well, crap. I mean, like, I think about what I used to scarf down on, like, a meal basis, I'm just like, God damn, if I could still do that?
Double Chipotle. Those were good days.
Double quarter pounder, supersized with a Coke, 10-piece chicken McNugget. That was McDonald's.
Right.
And then double, yeah, the double burrito bowl from Chipotle with an order of chips and salsa and a large drink. That's a good 3,000.
I remember. Yeah, I was going to say. I remember when I could put that down, and that was just because I was so active.
I can still do a double, but I am full by the time I finish.
My regular Chipotle is enough. It's more than enough.
Yeah.
Now.
No. Well, if I eat a double now. Well, see, I haven't. To be dead honest, I haven't done double rice. God, in almost a year, because the last time I did that was middle of the summer last summer.
Yeah.
And I still do double veggies because they don't really count for anything, like compared to doubling any of the other ingredients.
If you're not doing double veggies, you're doing something wrong.
I don't know why you wouldn't, because they don't charge you for it.
It's free and it's delicious. Oh my gosh! I mean, and
I worked it out.
The lack of calories aside, I mean, it's peppers and onions are fantastic.
I now do a regular order of peppers and onions and a regular order of beans, either pinto or black, just depending on how I'm feeling.
Yeah. And
then do double salsa. That works out to like 5 servings of vegetables. It's your entire daily intake.
Yeah.
Just in a fucking burrito bowl. Like,
I always get double salsa if I can.
Yeah. They've never said no. They've never said no to that.
Actually, there was one small time that they were saying no to double pico. There was a tomato shortage for like 3 months.
Oh yeah, that happens like a lot of springs, just because the way our weather's been.
Right, but other than that, no, it's just it's fair game.
Well, in that extenuating circumstances, they just don't have the supply.
I actually have I have a friend who works at Chipotle. He sent me the guide to maximize your Chipotle use.
Okay.
Basically, all the things that you can order extra of
they don't charge for,
that they don't charge for, and the secret a secret that I actually didn't know. You always order half and half meat.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I never do it because I sometimes do it like chicken and steak, but I just really like beef. I like steak, and I don't like their shredded barbacoa or the carnitas. I don't like it. One tastes like pork. One tastes like pot roast, and the other gives me gas. True story.
No, it's true. That's why I don't eat the pork. I'm like, shit, pork. Go in a match, pork. I'm the blue dart.
So,
boys eat more Kool-Aid.
But
anyway.
Because and actually the reasoning behind the order half of each meat is because they give you a scoop. They give you a scoop of meat, but when you order half meat, a scoop of meat is still kind of a scoop of meat. So you're still ending up getting like 1.5 times as much meat as you would otherwise. So if you really want to maximize, go and get that barbacoa and beef, or that. I mean, I do chicken and steak.
You ever screw them and go half and half and just do one item?
Oh wow! Can I get steak and steak half and half? I've never done that. Does that work?
They actually do it. You have to order online. They don't pay attention. They'll do it.
Weird.
I've had my local one has done it for me like multiple times. They've never questioned it. So you basically get double meat for no extra cost.
That is weird.
Because they're not paying attention. They're just going off the thing.
Yeah.
And they just punch. It's already punched in, so they don't pay attention.
Right. And
the best one is sometimes they'll just give you half meat, which is stupid.
Right.
But usually, if they're not paying attention, they'll. Especially if you pay ahead of time, then they can't even change it because you've already paid.
Nice.
It's not fair, really, but it's still fun to do it once in a while.
No. Every system deserves to be broken. That's the point. That's why systems were designed.
That's why banks are too big to fail.
Oh, man. Scary thing about banks. Trying to remember exactly what it was, but...
Damn, that's good.
I know. It's the salsa.
It's tomatoey, but it's got a huge spike of spice.
Exactly. No, it's not bad salsa. It was pretty cheap, too. Loans.
Oh, yeah. No, don't talk to me about loans. Oh,
loan
my God.
ratings
Oh, yeah.
and investment ratings. There is I unfortunately can't remember the source, the article I read, but there is, for a lot of these investment loans, there is like a team of 30 people at a desk that just give out all the ratings that just like set the ratings of the loans for the day. And there are recorded conversations of just like hilarious thing. It's like, hey Bob, hey Bob, can you give me a AAA rating on this loan? Oh, what's in it for me? Well, I have half a sandwich in my bag. Yeah, good enough. Thanks, Bob. God, it's insane. And once again, I'm sorry, I don't have the source on me for this stuff. But if you want wonderful tidbits like this from good online articles that actually quote their sources, follow Your Anon News on Twitter. Fantastic. Although you get some once in a while you get some 13-year-olds that put up some horrible things. Like today at work. Oh gosh, this was awful. I pop open my Twitter and there's protests going on
Turkey.
In Turkey. Thank you. And the tweet was, car fire in Turkey with a link. But the thing is that for any photos, the Twitter thing that I use in Trillion actually shows the photos.
Yeah.
It wasn't a car on fire. It was a guy bent over with his asshole pulled open.
Oh, goatsy.
Pretty much, yeah. And I'm at work.
Yay!
That was the fastest I've closed my Twitter account in a long time.
Did you see the austerity protest in Spain?
I heard about it, but I didn't actually read anything on it.
It's not so much the articles as the picture of the firemen protesting.
Oh?
This is a picture to end all pictures. This is when you know your country's fucked up, when the good guys are protesting. Like firemen.
Actually, that makes a... Wow, that's pretty huge.
When the firemen
actually.
are protesting what's going on in the government, like why they're doing austerity and shit,
yeah,
you know it's bad because... I mean, these are guys who run into burning buildings and put fires out and, basically make sure that people don't die in horrible flames. They're in their full firefighting gear with the helmets and the masks and everything. And the cops are in riot gear. So you've got cops in full body armor with riot gear and helmets and fucking batons and shit. And you have firemen in their fire gear protesting and the cops putting them down in their full fire gear with fucking fire axes. Now... I don't know what the cops were thinking. I mean, yes, they have guns, but they don't have fire hoses. Firemen do. And they have the equipment, and they know how to use it. And the cops don't have the equipment to shut off the water mains that the fire hydrants are hooked up to. Firemen do. What? So the police, technically the police is only, the police officer's only gambit, because tasers aren't going to work because they're wearing heavy-duty firefighting
Exactly,
gear.
yeah. Plus, if they're wet, any electricity is just going to ground out to the ground.
Mace doesn't work because they have respirators on.
Holy
they're
crap.
they're wearing the respirators.
They're wearing the full gear. Oh my god!
And these are modern firefighters, so they have gas masks too for when they're not in a place where they need to have gas oxygen. So they're wearing respirators. So mace doesn't work.
Right.
Tasers don't work. The billy clubs and batons are only slightly useful because these are guys in fucking firefighting gear. It's like hitting body armor. Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah.
But the firefighters have axes. Who's gonna win with body armor when the guy's got a fucking fire axe in his hand? Yeah, so the police officer comes up.
That's some pretty harsh combat there when you've got people with fire axes and.
Because they're defending themselves against the riot cops.
Oh, okay.
They know that basically the riot cops have no other weapon other than their firearms to use against them because they can't use the fire hoses. That's the fire department stuff. They're not going to get access to it. The fire department's not going to give them access to the fire hoses.
Right.
They have their riot vehicles, but the fucking firemen have pumper trucks. Guess who wins?
Hosing down the riot.
Guess who has higher pressure hoses? The firemen.
Gosh.
So I'm just going like, this is not a good thing. The firemen are not going to lose. Yes, the cops might beat them up a little bit, but they're not going to lose.
Shoot them. I mean, that'd be awful.
Shooting the firemen would probably be... Thankfully, that never happened, but if that's what it comes to, that's it. That country's going to fall into complete disarray. It is my very opinion that once you shoot the firemen, if the police officers shoot the firemen, they've lost all ground to stand on. There's no good man in that country who's going to say that's okay.
Right.
Because, firemen don't really... the whole deal is basically the firemen are taking a massive pay cut because the country has no money.
Right.
And they're basically employees of the state.
Right.
They work to basically protect the people and uphold order. Like not like law and order, but they're keeping fire from spreading across the country. And I don't understand why the cops would ever you see the cop taking a baton to the fire captain. And the fire captain's got the axe above his head ready to come down. Even if the cop hits him, he loses because the guy brings the axe down and splits his helmet open like a fucking ripe melon.
Yeah.
And possibly buries it in his head. You don't win. You only lose against the firemen.
Yeah, that's pretty dark, actually. Something that I've thought about a little bit, but never really understood. So,
Yeah.
we're all a bunch of regular Joes.
Yeah.
The firemen are all a bunch of regular Joes. And when it all comes down to it, the cops, they're really, they have a harsh job, but they're all just a bunch of regular Joes. So, at what point do the cops say, no more, we don't like this either? You never hear about that happening. Doesn't happen. It just seems weird. Like, would every cop be caught up in a political agenda, or is it just that the job is so caught up with public security and stuff that it's just not even a thought that they act upon? And it's like, well, I may have this personal belief, but this is what I signed on to do, and they just do it because that's.
You can say the whole "I'm just following orders" type thing, but literally. If you're a cop in riot gear and you're looking across the square at the firemen in their fire gear, and you're not thinking, my God, these are my brothers. These are men who risk their lives to keep order in this country, in this land, in this city, in this province, whatever. You can say the whole, well, I was just following orders. I'm keeping order. I get the whole, cops don't have to be that smart all the time, but it's like,
well, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Even a dumb person can look and say, I'm just following orders, but there's something fucked up here, because why are the guys who fight fires saying, this is fucked up and I think it should change?
Yeah.
You don't hear about firemen protesting in mass.
No.
Like, something is fucked up when the public servants come out and say, this is fucked up, this needs to stop. Like, and I'm not saying anything against or for austerity, I'm just saying, like, when the firemen are upset, that's not a good sign.
Well, right.
I don't know.
It just seems really weird to me that you don't see a police group come out, like just a city's police, like even just one, and just be like, no, we don't agree. We're not going to uphold this. We're not going to, like, we'll police, but we won't stop it because we agree with this protest. That never happens, and it seems weird. Like, if you could have a police group that says, "Look, we agree with these protesters. We will go out of our way to make sure that nobody gets hurt, that property doesn't get damaged, but we're not going to break up this protest because this is something we believe in." It boggles my mind that this does not happen.
When that happens, usually when you get to the point where the police themselves are no longer for the order, the government, that's the point where they're declaring martial law and they're moving the military in. Okay. Like, genuinely, when it gets to the point that the police no longer will uphold the orders, that they're saying this is fucked up and, we're with them, we'll do everything we can to keep order, but we're not going to pull them apart.
Yeah.
That's the point that the government is calling in the military. Because they no longer have their armed force, their civilian armed force, to uphold their values.
And those people have had all sense of originality beaten out of them. So
I don't think it's ever gotten to the point, because usually it gets to the point, like in our country, it's been to the point where a state says we're not going to uphold this federal law, and they call marshals or military in to uphold the law.
like Colorado and marijuana.
That's kind of the other way around. That's a state law that the government refuses to respect.
It's kind of funny though.
Yeah, they're smoking a whole bunch of people for that, saying, well, it's federally against the law, so we'll try you in federal court.
Yep. Don't have your marijuana and drive on the freeway.
Yep.
Them freeway police, them federal police, they get you. Those interstate troopers in their maroon cars. Makes me laugh when I go to work. Sometimes there's a D. Bryans and a Caribou in a strip mall not too far from work that I'll run into sometimes. And some mornings you'll get in and there'll just be like a line of like 3 to 5 state troopers.
Yeah.
You'll walk into the Starbucks and they're all standing there and you're just like, what in the world?
Yeah,
they're all just waiting for coffee. It's like, wow, it's a spot. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was just thinking about that for a minute. I was trying to remember if there's anything like that around here, and I've never run into that yet.
I'm trying to remember if there's like a good cop stop, yeah. No, not so much. Seems weird. I mean, in this town, the joke is that there's a cop for every 7 people in around here. Makes joyriding difficult.
Indeed. I blame Rady. Open the bag of corn chips, and I'm just like, or not corn chips, Tostitos. And I'm just like, I would have one. Oh my god, these are so good. They're so salty and delicious. Yes, I'm still a fat man.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of snack food in my apartment.
Yeah.
So when I get it, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, you and me both.
Yeah. My neighbor Ted, I really enjoy his freezer.
Oh yeah, god damn, he's got a lot of awesome stuff in his freezer.
The chicken, all the crappy stuff, the chicken strips, the mozzarella sticks, the jalapeno poppers.
Yeah.
Like, oh man.
Ted knows how to stock a fridge.
It's so bad for you, but it's so good. 11 p.m. at night, playing Tokyo Jungle.
Oh god. I'm just in love with
give me more jalapeno poppers and those curly fries.
I'm just more loving the fact that what's it always? I think the Walmart is like the Walmart here in town. If you go like half an hour before the deli closes, you can get the chicken strips for like half price.
Oh really?
So you get like a pound. You get like a pound of chicken strip. It's like a pound of chicken strips for like $3 or $4.
Dang!
Which only works out to like 5 or 6 chicken strips, but like you consider that you can get like 3 or 4 pounds for, which is like a bucket of chicken for like $9 or $10. It's like
so good.
I'm trying to remember how that worked out.
I have a special place in my heart for fried chicken.
Oh yes. There's no KFC in town anymore.
Well, the KFC over here was
god awful. Yeah, it was skanky.
Yeah, very skanky.
Very skanky.
Actually, but that's kind of the case for any KFC at this point.
Yeah.
I feel like it's really gone downhill.
Yeah, no, they're like all the ones around here are very like janky.
Yeah.
Like the one over by my work isn't too bad, but it's still kind of like. What I miss is having a Dairy Queen that's not in the middle of a tourist zone.
Oh God, yes. When that happened, I was like, "What? How did that even happen in the first place?"
It's because one of the big businessmen here in town thought it would be a great idea to move it down there, and then realized that.
I mean, okay, live in a small town that has a historic downtown.
Yeah,
and it's been for a long time. It's been the Chamber of Commerce has just blocked any chains from letting them build downtown in order to keep, the historic downtown. Now, somehow the Dairy Queen got around that by, making a, 40s, 50s style diner Dairy Queen?
Yeah.
Like, it's like the original Dairy Queen. And it's like, no, this is Dairy Queen.
Basically, from what I understand, but the businessman here in town who now owns that franchise,
Yeah.
made a very generous campaign donation to our current mayor when he was getting elected.
Piece of shit. I mean, and the only reason why, business is business is business is business. But, it bothers me in some of these places because the downtown here is actually, kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
They've got some great eateries. I mean, just across the street there is a real old style malt shop and grill. Like, you go down there, you get yourself a damn good burger and a hell of a malt.
Yep.
This is the end of part 1. Join us again in part 2. Continuing now with part 2.
Right, you don't find that. You don't find that very often. And then, you get the Dairy Queen across the street. It's like, you get your burger and you get your malt. And it's a third of the price. Or,
It's third of the price.
It's like a third of the price. It's like, but that, it bothers me.
What I love is they want to open another Dairy Queen somewhere in Oak Park Heights, like along the highway strip, so that they have one for the normal folk.
Nah.
I'm like, well, why don't they just move that one out of fucking downtown and put it somewhere up where, like, the regular residents live?
Yeah.
Because what they've learned after a couple of years of being open is that basically no one goes into Dairy Queen for that. It's the locals that go into Dairy Queen because, we want cheap food since we live here year round and we don't. Yeah. It's not a novelty to go to Darla's or Nelson's for us because.
Oh no, I still love Nelson's.
No, I do too. But I'm saying is like. You don't do it every day. You do it once in a while, whereas you might do Dairy Queen more often.
Best cheap ice cream. You pay $3 and you get more ice cream than you can eat.
I'll never forget.
Or is it $3.25 now? They keep raising the price.
Yeah, I have no idea. I haven't been in there in so long because
I used to
now,
work there. I remember the first price increase, and I was just like, whatever. And then I saw the second price increase, and I looked at the amount of ice cream, and I said, whatever.
Yeah.
It's still a good deal.
The lumberjack.
Oh, God. Did you ever eat one of those?
No. I'm a fat ass, but I don't like ice cream that much.
I think I did one. And I didn't bother to get my photo put up. I did one, and it was like, this is that was fine. This was my Lollapalooza moment.
Yes.
I don't need it to be commemorated for the next never.
Yes.
Who gives a fuck?
Exactly.
And I felt terrible afterwards.
It's like the one time I decided to try those blazing wings. Oh, God.
That
Never
was
again.
awful. That was, it was awesome, but oh my gosh, that was awful.
Well, and the horrendous nightmarish diarrhea that followed, and my insides heaving until I was dry.
Hey, Radrin! Look! I can float 6 inches above the ground!
Exactly. I just remember we were playing Final Fantasy IX, and I literally was
really
commentating. Yeah, I was commentating from the bathroom.
Oh, that's right! Oh my gosh, I completely forgot about that.
Because,
that episode was great.
Oh my God, every 10 minutes I'd go in there and be like, what are we doing now? You're like, we're fighting this guy. Awesome! If there's any chicks there, I want to do them! Yes. I remember being like 1 o'clock in the morning, I literally... You haven't lived till... I've only done it once in my life, but I literally went until I was dry. There was nothing left inside. And my gut was still like, this needs to come out, this needs to come out, this needs to come out. And there was nothing left. So I'm sitting there with this, urge to go to the bathroom, and, my insides, pulsating, trying to push...
It's like reverse dry heaving.
Yes. Yes, exactly. It's like dry heaving coming out the back end. And I'm just like... I remember it being the most horrendous pain in my life because it was it's like hearing a hose when you're first pushing water through it. It's just it's like, oh God, oh.
Before all of you Spice lovers think that you're just listening to a couple of pussies, this is the guy who used to do Tabasco chugging contests.
Oh yeah.
This guy could take the heat.
And that was
the reality. The reality is that B-Dub's hot sauce, while delicious, is just awful for you.
It was, the whole thing was it was really bad eating it. It made me tear up, and it really sucked. I had a hard time breathing without milk to put out some of the fire.
Mm-hmm.
But it was within 10 minutes, I was okay. It still burned a little bit, but it was it was a low burn. I'm whatever. And then 3 hours later, I'm just oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. I'm just the hell. That's the only time it's ever happened where I've just been oh God, my insides.
But man, that was the cleanest your intestines have been ever since.
Oh God, yeah. It's the only way you would do that is with
kombucha.
No. The stuff they give you before surgery.
Oh Jesus.
That's the other stuff that would make you do it. It's a laxative, and I can't remember what the word is that basically makes you empty all the way out, not just have to go, but you're going to go until you're clean.
Sounds like a great way to get dehydrated.
It's potassium something. I don't think it's permanganate, because that would make you sick.
Potassium, shit yourself out.
Yeah. It's potassium, sodium, salt, something. I was ugh.
Although, now speaking of things that clean out your intestines, aka kombucha.
Oh yes.
For those that don't know, kombucha is a fermented tea. It uses a kombucha culture, which some people call kombucha mushroom, and all it does is take the added sugar and
you're making tea wine.
Yeah, you're basically making tea wine. It's very lightly alcoholic and actually ends up being closer to a sweet vinegar.
Yeah.
Which sounds weird, but
you're not using the right kind of mold.
Yeah.
If you're using the right kind of mold, you end up with what the fuck is that? When you make a tea and you add wine mold, the type of mold they use for fermenting wine.
Yeah.
You end up with.
Good question.
There's a name for it when you ferment
tea.
You should ferment tea into a spirit. Well, not a spirit. Well, yeah,
it would be a spirit of sorts.
It's not technically a spirit because you don't distill it after you're done, but it's like a type of mulled wine or champagne.
Well,
champagne is wine, but
anyway.
Yeah.
Point being. So I was introduced today to what I assumed was going to be one of the most disgusting concoctions I had ever had. So take your green tea. You have a green tea. Add a little bit of grape juice. Okay, so now you have a vinegary green tea that has some grape juice to cut some of the vinegary taste, and it kind of becomes like a fermented sweet tea kind of thing.
Yeah.
That in and of itself is cold, refreshing, actually quite healthy for you, and in its own way very delicious. Now add bourbon. Think about that for a minute. Yeah, I had 3 of these before I came here. Sorry.
Oh my
No,
God.
okay. So you have a vinegary sweet tea with grape juice and that delicious substance known as bourbon. That doesn't sound very good, does it?
Sounds terrible.
It sounds awful.
It's not, is it?
It's not. I cannot believe it. I want to actually make it. I want to make it with. I tried it with Windsor, and then I used Jim Beam for the second one because I had to try both since they were both available, and both ended up really pretty good.
No, Jim Beam was bourbon. I thought that was straight.
I'm sorry. Jim Beam is bourbon. Windsor is Canadian whiskey.
I didn't know Jim Beam was bourbon. I thought it was.
Jim Beam is bourbon.
I thought Jim was straight whiskey.
No, Jim Beam is bourbon whiskey.
Because it's one of the 4 wise men.
Yeah.
But I thought all 4 of the wise men were straight Kentucky whiskey.
No. I mean, isn't it 3 wise men?
Oh, I'm sorry, 4 riders. 4 riders.
Oh, the 4 riders.
Jose.
Oh,
Jose is the 4th rider.
Yeah, no.
Because it's Jim,
Jim,
Jack,
because
James.
Jack Daniels is not really... Jack Daniels is like it sits in a weird spot because it's a whiskey, but it's been filtered through like charcoal and molasses and stuff.
Yeah.
So it gets like this weird sweet, not quite sweet, but this like spicy bite to it that I really like, but doesn't allow it to be like a bourbon whiskey.
Yeah.
But then you have Johnny and
I'm fairly sure Johnny is standard Kentucky whiskey.
yeah, no, Johnny is bourbon. It's like good bourbon whiskey.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Smooth. I thought bourbon was like spicy.
It doesn't need to be.
Because when Grandma got out of the hospital, we had the
I'm pretty
blue
sure
label, and that was like smooth.
Like I haven't had Walker in a long time because I don't have the money for good Walker. I don't like my bourbon cheap.
Cheap anything is good.
Like I actually don't like Jim Beam. It's Astronautis's go-to drink, but I don't like Jim Beam. I prefer like
This is every time somebody talks about bourbon, I always think about my mom's 1.5 liter bottle of Old Cabin Still.
Does she still have it?
I've never thought to check and see if it's still there.
Because I would like to taste an ounce of that. You don't have to go get it. Not right now.
Obviously. Oh, okay. Whatever.
but sometimes
We were using it to make bourbon chicken. Like, legitimately. I don't know why she bought the giant bottle. I think it was on sale. But I was like, Mom, we don't need a bottle that big. Unless we have eggnog.
Ooh, yes.
Because, I was lazy, and I was just like, I'll just throw a shot of this in with some eggnog, and it'll be great.
Oh, I'm sorry.
17 at the time.
Yes. Oh. Sorry. Long story short, kombucha and bourbon is surprisingly delicious. And this is not just me. This was actually like there's a at the volleyball game that I go to. There's like a whiskey bourbon connoisseur who tries a whole bunch of American bourbons and then brought back a bunch of imported Japanese whiskeys because it's not a bourbon if it's not from Kentucky. Mm-hmm. That were quite magnificent, by the way. I got to taste some of them. Oh, so good. So kind of a connoisseur, and he had this drink, and oh my God, he had this.
Sorry,
he had this drink, and he's just like, I don't know what's happening to my taste buds, but it's a good thing. So it's a good drink. I want to try making it with Southern Comfort.
That would be amazing.
So I can call it a SoCo sweet tea, because that's what it is. It's a sweet tea and bourbon, but a little vinegary. And I don't know. I kind of want to try it without the grape juice. The grape juice is just to cut the tart. But I feel like that if you use Southern Comfort, you won't need to have the grape juice. Thus, you can just have straight kombucha. And the Southern Comfort will cut the
Southern
vinegar
Comfort
itself.
is sweeter than a lot of other
Exactly.
spirits, so you don't need it.
So it'll be a true SoCo sweet tea. That's my next project to test out when I get
Different
home.
variations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
No, it was just surprisingly fantastic. I don't know what else to say.
Actually, surprisingly, the main reason why I've never been able to actually drink kombucha is because I spent so much time dealing with glacial acetic acid, which is the thing that makes acetic acid, the thing that makes vinegar tart.
Right.
Glacial is when you freeze it,
Oh, okay.
so that what's left is the pure acid behind the water that's in the acetic acid. So basically, if you freeze vinegar and keep like taking off the liquid, you eventually get it down to pure acid. It is the most horrendous smelling shit. It's what makes vinegar smell terrible.
Right.
And when you condense it down, it's like the most it's actually physically noxious. Like not noxious in the sense it smells, but noxious in the sense that it knocks you flat on your ass and you will pass out from the smell. It's that bad. Like it actually knocks you unconscious.
So I don't need to buy chloroform anymore, is what you're saying?
No. It'll also burn the nose hairs. But the point being is, I had to deal with it to cut certain samples so we could remove. When you use it with certain contaminants, it causes them to precipitate.
Okay.
And even wearing a mask, you could smell it. It would keep the noxious, like the actual stuff that makes you fucking go unconscious from getting to you, but you could still smell it through the mask. And it smells like the worst, it's the worst smelling vinegar you've ever used. And because everything that's, fermented smells like that, I have just a horrible connection with that kind of vinegary, smell from working with the glacial.
That makes sense.
Oh, God, it's terrible. No other acid smells that bad. Like, nitric acid smells kind of bad. Sulfuric acid smells pretty bad.
It's sulfur.
Hydrochloric acid smells, like, really, really bad, but only if you mix it with other impurities. Like, pure hydrochloric acid smells like... Well, actually, it just smells like burnt cotton.
I was going to say, it doesn't smell much at all, if I remember correctly.
The normality smells like burnt cotton.
Okay.
That's what I describe it. Like, if you, burned your toast, a little bit, not like burning, like something that burned carbon,
right.
But, it smells like something that's, been burnt.
Okay.
Like I don't know what you want to call it, if you, singe something. It's got that kind of a smell when you refine it. It's not bad.
So not as bad as burnt hair, but...
The main reason why it smells like that is that it's so highly concentrated that it burns everything it touches. That's not inorganic.
Crystal.
Yeah. It's the one I talked about when I was working on my senior thesis, that I would be wearing gloves, and I was wearing gloves only so that I would have a chance to rip the gloves off if I should drop some on me.
Right.
With enough time to basically get it off before it started burning my skin and getting down into my actual flesh. This is the kind of acid when you're watching Batman and the Joker sprays somebody and it eats through steel. This is that kind of acid. You highly concentrate it. It's the kind of shit that you can refine any chemical compound with, because it just breaks everything down it comes in contact with. It breaks organic bonds, it breaks chemical bonds. You're taking hydrogen and chlorine, and you're going to start breaking shit apart. Because
hell, if they threw some on Alien, it would have disintegrated.
Pretty much.
Which actually, when I watched Alien for the first time, and
you're like, what the heck?
Yeah, it started eating through all the steel of the ship. Yeah, I looked at that, I was just like, it's not possible. There is nothing, unless it has a crystal stomach, there's no way that it could...
Very easily. Mucous membranes. Our stomachs can produce a mucus that protects you from hydrochloric acid by producing a proton inhibitor.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Damn it, scientist. Stop being smart.
It's as simple as this. It has it all the way up its esophagus. So, it's like a fireproof dragon. It just spews it out, and it has protection against the thing it's using. It's really no different than an insect that basically pukes up bile to digest, its meal.
Well, you heard it here, folks. The alien is possibly a real thing, and it's coming to get you. Hide your children.
How'd your wife?
'Cause they're climbing in your windows.
Oh, yeah. All right. Oh, God. Sore. Goddamn pressure changes.
Pressure changes. Oh,
yeah, a front
from the
moved
weather?
through today.
Yeah.
So,
I was going to say, yeah.
my joints
That
are
makes
sore. I'm old.
Like, you went flying today?
in my day.
Did you go flying today?
Oh, yeah.
Did you go diving in the river?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It was awesome.
I dropped from 30,000 feet to 10,000 leagues under the sea. I have the bends now.
Wrong use of measurement. Shh. Yeah. Anyway, I'll be over here. Nothing like making fun of Richard.
I didn't say I went 20,000 leagues deep, only that I went 20,000 leagues. Under the sea. Under the sea. Under the sea. I fucked Ariel, she had no vagina. What's wrong with me? You're welcome for that.
Oh my god. Did you fertilize her eggs? Oh god, you made fucking egg salad. Anyway.
Mermaid caviar. They'd be like the size of tennis balls.
Yeah, they really would, actually. Yeah, actually, they really would, because Barracuda caviar is, they're like the size of peas, and they're a good 80, 90 pounds. So, yeah, that's about right.
I'm just trying to imagine like a tennis ball sized fish egg. That just seems crazy.
You see, I would tend to believe what you would actually end up with is like a leather-skinned egg, like kind of like a platypus.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Because, like, legitimately, like, if there were such a thing as, like, an actual, like, mermaid-styled hominid, it would be, basically, it would look like a human with a dolphin tail. Which actually,
wait. Would it be a hominid or would it be a hominid?
Did you know that the lowland gorilla's scientific name is gorilla?
What?
Yes, seriously.
Nice.
I recently learned this from one of my biology friends online. It's like, you know how there's all those silly, scientific names for gorillas? Or, for animals?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Homo sapien, Canis lupus, blah, blah, blah.
Well, it's like Latin and Greek.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, so, the gorillas, just like gorillas in general, their scientific name is gorilla. The lowland gorilla? Gorilla. Like, no, what? No. She's like, go look it up. I go to Wikipedia, look up lowland gorillas. Yes! Gorilla. I got a gorilla for sale. Magilla gorilla.
It is now my goal to discover the sexy mermaid, so that I can
Call her Humana.
Yes, I will call it the Humana. That will be its scientific name, and it will be excellent.
Exactly. You did that on purpose.
Oh!
Sorry, that was really easy.
Nicely done. I love puns. They make me happy.
Every time we're talking about sea life, somebody makes a joke, I'm just like, you did that on purpose.
Dang it. Usually I'm pretty quick off the puns.
Yeah, I can't think of it. I'm trying to think if there are any other puns, and I can't think of any.
Damn it. Wow. That's terrible.
The kombucha and bourbon is killing your brain cells.
No kidding.
God.
No. It's like wildlife. See, what the alcohol does...
Oh, God, you're not going to do that analogy, are you?
Yes, I do. It searches out...
My God, this is not Cheers.
Why not?
Okay, go ahead.
But it searches out the weak and the injured brain cells and culls them from the herd, thus allowing the strong to survive. Really, I'm just making myself smarter.
Oh, cripes. I got now that I usually have a witty remark, but my God. We're stealing from Cheers, a show that was big, well, Yeah, I'm not actually sure what it dates, but I know it was old.
He wants to riposte, but he has no swordfish.
Oh, God. How do you live with yourself? Don't answer that.
I was going to say, I was like, there's no good answer for that one. Not very
bad.
well.
God.
Steady diet of animal products and alcohol.
Oh.
I like steak. No, there's no joke there. I just like steak.
Who doesn't like steak, actually?
I actually have a wonderful cooking method for steak, which, if you can...
Put in fire. Brown on outside, bloody on inside. Good. Now masturbate with.
What the fuck? Okay, I did not expect that, but all right.
I think I'm referencing Dennis Leary. I think he has a joke about like a bar for real, or a club for real men, where they all stand around a fire naked, masturbating with raw meat, and then throwing it in the fire, or some shit like that. If somebody dies of a heart attack, toss them in, more meat for the rest of us.
I guess that's one way to get your rocks off.
Oh.
No, I was, okay. So, step one.
All it says on the door is "Come and get your meat."
Oh, God.
This is so staying in.
Speaking of puns.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God, this is a mistake.
Come and get your meaty treat.
Did mistake get completely passed up there? Come on, guy.
I miss steak as well.
Step one. Go to the hardware store, buy yourself a cheap cast iron pan. No, this is a real way to cook steak. This is how I do it. I've had people on their knees begging me to make them another. It's so good.
So that's what you call oral sex with your girlfriend?
Making steak?
Yes, she's on her knees begging you for more. She's gonna kill us, isn't she?
Yeah, she's not gonna hear it.
Good point. I should really send it to her.
Step 2. Go to the grocery store. Buy yourself a steak that's at least 3/4 of an inch thick.
I've heard that one before.
Alright. Get home. Usually you would go through all the stuff of, like, seasoning your pan or whatever. I mean, that's a good idea. You should probably do it. But we're going to assume that you have a seasoned cast iron pan.
Optional steps. Keep in mind.
It's a good idea. You should probably do it. Alright, throw your cast iron pan onto the stove on high heat. It's cast iron. It doesn't matter. You could throw the thing into some, like, molten lava and it would probably still be okay.
Yes.
High heat. Just leave it there. Let it get just ridiculously hot. Take your steak, make sure it's room temperature, cover it with a little bit of oil, salt, pepper. Now throw it into the middle of your pan that's been sitting on the high heat. Don't turn down the heat and don't touch the steak. 30 seconds. Flip it over. Another 30 seconds. By the way, this entire time you've had your oven set to 500 degrees, sitting and waiting for the steak. So after that second searing of the 30 seconds on the second side, go ahead, pick up the pan, throw it in the oven. 2.5 minutes. Go in, flip it. Another 2.5 minutes. Get it off of that pan. You have a perfect medium rare steak. It's going to melt in your mouth and you're going to cry because you didn't know about this method before. You'll thank me later, trust me. Oh, you'll thank me later, baby. My meat in your mouth? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing because I've actually tried the steak and it's actually really good. So I'm just going to sit over here and be quiet while I consider the last time I ate delicious meat. Sorry. Oh, well. Now they know your real name.
Oh, dear.
You can never be Batman again. Oh, wait, you're like Iron Man, aren't you? So you don't really give a fuck. You invite your enemies to your house.
They're the same thing. I mean, Batman,
Actually, good
Iron
point.
Man. You know what the best superpower is? Lots
rich.
and lots of money.
I mean, legitimately, Iron Man is just what happens when you lose your parents and don't get all emo about it for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
They're actually legitimately basically the same character.
Oh, yeah.
Barring a couple significant differences,
One lost his parents, the other is an eccentric genius.
he lost his parents too, actually.
But he's an eccentric genius.
So is Batman.
But he lost his parents.
Yes, this is true of both of them.
Okay, fine.
No,
I am not.
legitimately.
I'm sorry. I'm not a.
I mean, it's not quite as heinous as what happens to Batman when he's a kid.
I'm not a comic book buff.
As far as I understand, Tony Stark lost his mother was when he was young. She just died, had cancer or something. But his father was blown up by Obadiah Stane.
Obadiah Stane.
He's the bad guy in the first movie. He's the dude who was the president of the company.
Oh, I don't.
He's played by.
I guess I don't remember the first movie.
Oh yeah, he's the guy played by Jeff Bridges.
Okay. Excuse me.
He's the first real villain that he runs into as an adult as Iron Man after the whole getting caught in the cave making Iron Man the real Iron Man suit before he does the whole golden maroon.
Okay.
Alien.
Oh yeah.
He's got the big conk Iron Man.
Yeah, that was a fantastic bit of movie magic over there. I really liked what they did. As I said, not a comic book buff.
I was more surprised by the fact that after the first movie, they didn't make any entire suits for the movies.
What do you mean?
The suit he wears, when you see Robert Downey Jr. in the suit,
yeah,
it's the top end and the helmet, but the bottom is just little things that they fill in with special effects. He never actually had a bottom.
Oh.
He's wearing green pants with the black and white tracking
that's so disappointing.
I was you're seriously telling me you would made a fully functioning top, so from the waist up was a fully functioning suit, but they didn't make the legs.
Why not?
And I'm not exactly sure why they didn't do it. And they don't have to use it a lot, but I mean they could have done it for
Why wouldn't they make the Iron Man suit just for shits and giggles? I mean, granted it can't fly or shoot anything, but hell. Just think of what a kick that would be at parties and cons.
Have you seen the trailer for Pacific Rim?
Not recently.
Do you remember the part where the two guys are inside the head of the
It's the Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie, yeah.
Yeah, they got the giant robots that it's like NGE, it's like Neon Genesis Evangelion if it was done in America, basically.
Right.
Giant robots versus giant monsters.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
it's the Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie.
No, the Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie is True Steel.
Oh, right. Sorry. Forgot about that.
Yeah,
because that one's actually made by...
Yeah, it's actually Hasbro.
Oh,
or Mattel, I don't remember which.
That's Hasbro.
That's actually based off the concept of Rock'em Sock'em
Hasbro,
Robots.
I love the fact that you give Wizards of the Coast pretty much free reign to, do stuff. But God, you guys are just sad sometimes. Please.
But anyway, so... You do remember, the giant head thing that they're inside of?
Yeah.
That's a real set. All of it.
Oh,
all
really?
of it is real. Every last thing. The suits, the head. It's a giant, the flight simulators that they have for, the military,
yeah.
the actuators and shit. That's what they did. They built an actual giant, 2-story tall head on actuators. When the guys are walking... And the little the things on their feet and the things on their arms are going back and forth. Those are real fucking actuators that they're hooked up to, and the real suits that they're wearing. None of it is fucking fake. Del Toro actually fucking built a giant head. They're wearing actual suits, and they're actually hooked up to a thing that's moving with them.
That is...
when they step, the whole actuator is set to go up and down with them.
That is actually fantastic.
I was watching the thing today while I was sitting at the mechanics. I'm just oh my god! How the fuck did he talk the studio into letting him do that?
Well, he's Del Toro.
But it's just he said a good 20% of his budget was spent on building this the headset, and I'm just oh my god, it's all real. There's no their whole suits are real. When shit blows up or falls off, or they're the front screen thing.
Yeah.
Their eye, the eye screen thing that breaks at one point. He has that happen. He has it all really happens. None of it is faked with movie magic. He actually has stunts and shit set up where when the thing gets punched in the face, and the glass screen breaks. That actually happens. They're working and they got their visors down. Boom! The whole thing just boom. Holy mother of fuck!
Now I kind of want to see this movie.
It looks really, really, really cool. I was already excited, but seeing that a lot of the shit isn't actually faked. Anything they could legitimately get away with not faking, he didn't.
This is the end of part 2. Please join us again in part 3. Continuing now with part 3.
So, like, the actual fight scenes between the giant robots, not real, all computers.
Obviously.
But, like, there's a set where, like, when one of the robots gets broken, the guy's, like, sitting in front of, like, the broken head and body.
Yeah.
Like, everything from the shoulders back is fake, but everything forward is real. Like, there's an actual, like, giant head on a set. You had a green screen, but
that's commendable. I like that. That, and I actually do like just stupid fun action flicks. I mean,
oh yeah, G.I. Joe: Rise of Cobra.
I haven't seen that either. Excuse me.
Or no, that was the first one. What's the second one called? I don't remember.
Oh,
I don't care particularly. Are you dying, Rain?
No.
Can I have your body for science?
You've already said that you were going to do that.
Well, you don't get a choice. Even if you say no, I'll dig you up, make you my zombie slave. But
Just like how Radio Shack's going to call me in 2 years and ask if I want a new phone.
Oh my god. You're gonna ask if you want a job? Since like 5 years ago you filled out a...
Oh, come on. They throw those applications out like every 6 months.
They actually don't.
What?
If they don't call you, like they don't like call you out of the pool, you stay in the pool. I think after a certain point they don't make a point of calling people.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no way that
there's still applications like from I don't know how far back.
I know that I was in the queue to be called for hiring, but there's no way that they're ever going to call me on that. Although, funny thing, there was one time when I was years ago when I was looking for a job.
Yeah.
I applied for like a dishwashing job somewhere, and then didn't hear back. Back from them for months, and then I got a job at the website Car Soup.
Yeah.
And, like, literally 3 months after I got this job at Car Soup, like, I got a call asking if I wanted the dishwashing job. And I'm just like...
Wow!
Right. And I'm just like, are you serious?
Are you serious, bro? Are you super serious?
That was months ago. I work at a website now. Oh. Okay. I'm like, cool. Oh,
God. That's terrible.
That was weird. Because, like, pretty much every job that I've looked for, it's been, like, I find that they're hiring, I apply, I get a call within days, and then I either have the job within a week and a half or I don't.
Yeah.
So to get a call to, like, come in and, like, interview, like, months after I put in an application, it's just, like...
ludicrous.
Like, what are you doing?
Why would you even call someone that? Like, literally, like, I wouldn't call anybody who had applied more than, like, say, a month or so before.
Right.
It's like...
Like, unless they're... And that's the thing, like, if you're looking for a job...
Yeah.
And you have active applications, even if you're like in standby mode, like you've put out applications to 10 places, you're calling each of those places once a week and saying, got your opening yet? Can I have an interview? I'm still interested. Like, if you're not doing that, you don't want that job very badly. I don't care. You're not
I actually
gonna...
enjoyed the couple places I called while looking for, a job in my field that actually told me I was out of the pool for doing that. I was like, wow, I obviously don't want to work here.
Well, they don't want you to work there, so I'm sure you wouldn't mind working there, but they don't want you to work there.
Those are the ones I started looking. You can tell which ones they are because they're the ones that literally in the application say, do not call us.
Oh.
Because I took your advice and didn't think about it and, read the application real close. That was my own fault. But I thought that was just standard, and I was like, no, there are actually, some companies.
Yeah, I actually find that, I actually find it odd that you would have that companies would have a do not call, because that, for a lot of, and this isn't just my experience, this is a lot of people.
No, I was shocked.
This is a lot of people I know that one of the main ways that they call out the people that they don't want is the people who come in, they leave an application, that's the last thing they do. Like, it's the people who call and say, I'm really interested in this job. Yeah. They know, okay, this person actually has an interest in and has some kind of drive, even if it's just to,
I shit you not, man. There were a couple where it literally said, we have a group of people looking at the applications. If you are picked as one of the possible candidates, we will be in contact with you. If you do not hear from us, assume you have not been chosen. Wow.
Yeah, that seems weird to me. And
that's a lot of consulting places, apparently.
Well, okay, for a consulting firm, I guess that makes sense.
Well, that's what I'm looking at, because my field is either that or government at this point.
I suppose. And I guess once you get to a certain level of job, that's kind of how it is. That they assume that you have enough of a history in certain workforces that they can look at your resume and do a little bit of Google searching.
Yeah.
And hide your profiles, people.
Oh yeah.
You think you apply for a real job and they don't look at and they're not going to go and look up your Facebook or anything. They do. If you have a public profile, they read through it. If they don't like what they see, you're not getting called. And Mike is taking a piss. Oh, I broke it. Bones is emptying his bones. Emptying his bone? Yeah, sure, why not? I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts, dee-dee-dee. Here they are, standing in a row, a row, a row, a row.
What, did you screw up now, too?
Oh, of course.
Oh, God, I just couldn't hold it anymore.
That's what she said.
Oh, yeah, well, she wanted the D.
I want the double D.
I didn't know you liked two dicks in you at once.
Bonga, 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 bonga.
Oh, that kind of double D. There was a misunderstanding. I was like, I'm sure we can find next couple of gentlemen who'd love to stick their dicks in places they shouldn't go.
Nope.
I love that. Did you see Jack's new car?
He sent me the link.
He's got a Golf GTI, this son of a bitch.
Asshole.
He's so successful.
I was going to say, further proof that the guy makes too much money and doesn't even know what to do with it.
He's like, I'm going to buy... This morning he's like, I'm going to buy a new car.
Right.
I'm like,
no,
what?
He texted me or not texted me, but...
He's I kind of feel like I should get a car. He's like, I think I'm going to get a new car. How's that? Like, what do you think? I'm
no, 3 days...
yeah, whatever makes you happy.
No, 3 days ago, he's just like, I think it's time for me to get a car. I've been doing a little bit of research, and then he just goes out and buys a car.
Yeah.
How much do you want to bet that he paid for most of that just right off the bat?
Oh, I bet. I'm guessing he's maybe got like 1/3 of it financed.
Oh, absolutely.
It's only the car he got. I looked at it by looking at what it looked like physically.
Like $26,000.
Yeah, it's the enduro racer version or whatever. It's one down from the top. So the top one's the Autobahn. He really could have gone with the Autobahn version because it's only another $2,000 to get to the one with all the bells and whistles already on it. I really hope he got the semi-automatic transmission because that would be really fucking awesome.
The semi-automatic.
It's the.
I know what it is, but I've driven them and I've driven them as a semi-automatic, not just as an automatic. It's just very silly.
No, I'm not talking about like the ones you can switch between. It's the one with the paddles on the wheel.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it's like what race cars have. So instead of having a gear shift on the floor, it's up on the thing. You press your pedal. Right pedal is up, left pedal is down, and it's all computer controlled shifting.
That is...
Like, if I was going to get a sports car, that's how I'd want to do it, because then you don't have to deal with the clutch and shit. It's just, doop, and it shifts up, doop, shifts down.
But I love true manual.
I'm betting he's probably got the regular manual, but I just think the semi-auto is awesome.
No, ever since I learned to drive manual, I'm
Yeah.
kicking myself that my first car I didn't buy a manual.
Wow.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
When I took my Florida trip, we took a manual transmission down. Just so much. It actually made, freeway driving interesting.
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, you're just sitting and driving.
Yep.
It's undead monster. I am the dead.
It makes it hard to eat a pimento taco while driving, though.
So have you watched the Badasses and Bunkers video yet?
Both the 24-minute one and the 20-minute one.
I think I saw the 24.
You saw the 24-minute one on Reddit. There's a 20-minute one that's kind of awful.
Okay.
But you get to see a few different parts of gameplay that were not shown in the 24-minute one.
Okay.
As they go, it's cut a little differently, and you see a little farther into the game. But the guy who's playing the game
is bad.
Oh, he's god-awful.
Because they really did a good job of, like, for the 24-minute one, they did a really good job of portraying what it's going to be about.
Yeah, the commentary was excellent. For the 20-minute one, there was a bored fake geek girl commentator doing
God.
it. And I swear that at the end of the video, like before they even cut the camera, she's already looking down and like getting ready to pull out her cell phone.
God,
it was actually awful.
Like, I'm legitimately excited to play that with everybody.
It looks so fun.
It looks in the running commentary by the characters is just amazing.
Tiny Tina's assault on
something Keep.
Oh, on Dragon Keep.
Yeah.
Assault on Dragon Keep. Poor Tina. She doesn't know that Roland. She refuses to admit that Roland's dead. Spoilers.
She doesn't know he's dead.
No, she knows. See, that's the interesting thing about it. She knows that both Roland and Bloodwing are dead, but this is her way of coping with it.
Oh,
that's why. No, that's why this. That's like why this is so interesting, because like the story, this D&D
dealing
this
with
D&D campaign is her way of dealing with
death.
Yeah,
coming to terms with death.
Yeah. It's going to be fantastic.
They had me sold within the first, 2 minutes when she's talking about the characters they can be. She's like, you can be a necromancer.
You can be the siren, the necromancer.
I'm going to be a siren. Her name is Brick.
And she's the prettiest.
It's like, Brick, you amazing son of a bitch.
Oh my god.
The first time I played through, I think I played with you guys for a little bit when you were playing the assault on Brick's castle or whatever, Brick's fortress, and so I never got the lead up to Brick or the missions with Brick where you get to hear his the way he is.
Yeah.
And then later on I went back. I think when I played True Vault Hunter, I actually played through 1,000 Cuts by myself, and I'm like, oh my god, he's fucking amazing. He's the best character in the entire game.
Brick's character is...
What's up, Slab?
Sup, Slab? Oh, by the way, my slabs will probably still shoot at you. Go ahead and kill them. Don't worry about it. I never do. They're kind of stupid.
God. I mean, genuinely, the 4 original heroes are all interesting in their own way, but he's just... You legitimately feel bad for him. His whole reason for entering the fray is because they killed his dog.
Yeah. Poor Brick.
Legitimately. Everybody else has got, vendettas and, serious backstories. Brick is, they killed my dog, they must die.
Yeah. It's actually really weird to see, I never finished the first Borderlands, but I played a lot of it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see, the lack of character in the first Borderlands of the main characters, because they're supposed to kind of be blank slates for you to play in and interact in this world, and then to have them
be fully
to have them be fully characterized in the second game, and it all fits so well. Like their writers are fabulous for this game, and now, like, you know, I think that if I went back and tried to play Borderlands 1 again, like, you would, like, literally think, like,
you'd regress, like, what?
Yeah, no, you'd think of all these characters as these people from Borderlands 2, like, when they really, like, characterize all this, and it'd be great. Like, it actually, having the characters from Borderlands 1 now fully characterized kind of makes the new characters, the playable characters from Borderlands 2, just feel lacking, because they don't have any character. They're slates for you to play with.
Yeah.
Which makes me interested, like, what are they going to do for Borderlands 3?
Yeah.
And I mean, and granted, they did have, for, like, all the talk, all the little, like, character tidbits of talking that they say, like, there's obviously some character in all of the Borderlands 2 playable characters. I mean, like, especially the DLC characters. I mean, you've got the Necromancer, who is just, like, I don't even remember what she's trying to do, but, you know, she makes this amazing flying death trap.
Yeah.
Death mech. And she only won 3rd place in the science fair. Like, what the fuck's up with that?
Yeah, who got 1st and 2nd?
Right, who got 1st and 2nd?
What did they
make?
Yeah.
She accidentally cut off her arm, so she made herself a Mecro arm. Like, how awesome is that? And then, I mean, Krieg, the newest character, suffers from multiple personalities disorder. Like, he's got the insane, he's the insane psycho, but he still has like that sliver of his old personality in there, trying to nudge him in the right direction, which is why he gets to be a Vault Hunter. When I was like, Zero has this, like, weird honorable, he's like a Klingon.
Yeah, he's a
samurai. He's a Klingon. He's, you know, he's got this, like, weird, brutal past, and he's trying to make up for it somehow. And, like, Axton, the commando, what the fuck's up with him anyway? I don't even know.
Basically, the only reason he's a Vault Hunter is he was like a legitimate badass in the Dahl, like, private, like, mercenary corps.
Yeah.
He was dating the, like, battalion or, like, regiment commander. Like, legitimately, like, his girlfriend was, like their whole unit commander.
Yeah. Were there some, like, echo things?
His whole backstory is told through, I actually missed most of it. I caught it by basically going back later after I had already, like...
Yeah, like, what area, though? Because I don't remember ever seeing
It's that Wild West town, like Sherwood or whatever.
Oh, that's why I never did it, because I hate that place.
There's no missions. There's no major missions that take place in there. I've never had to go in there for anything.
That, and it's so fucking hard and just hellish to try and work through. Like, why would you even want to go in there if you don't have to?
So, like, that's the whole deal. Like... all of his major, like, echoes are in that area, and you don't have to go in there for anything. So
that's why.
You never pick them up. Like, Maya's are in a whole bunch of different places.
Yeah, actually, well, Maya's are in the animal testing area.
Yeah,
and actually, those are
where are Zeros? I've never actually heard any Zeros.
Zeros are where are Zeros? Because I've heard them. It's in that area right before the final area of the game.
Oh, the Cauldron?
The Cauldron.
Sawtooth Cauldron. It's where you go to the big tower and then they pick up the... or is it in the Nexus?
No, it's in the Cauldron. I'm pretty sure it's in the Cauldron. Yeah, Zeros are in the Cauldron. I actually think Maya has probably, like, the most interesting backstory.
I don't even know anything about Salvador at all, period, because nobody plays him that I know, and I've never heard any of his stuff.
Does he have echo casts?
I
don't even know.
I think all the characters do, but I don't know where his are.
I've got, like, 200 plus hours on this, and I don't even know if Salvador has any echo casts.
I don't think I've actually seen anyone in our group of friends actually play him yet. I
have one. He's like level 28.
You know what I'm saying? Play him through completion to hear all the stuff. Like
no, I have one that he was when we first got the game, and my neighbor's daughter was playing with us, so we had the full 4. They all claimed their characters, and and I took the boring character, and I was like, okay, I'll play Salvador, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then ended up having a ton of fun with Salvador.
Yeah, he looks like an interesting character class.
I find it funny that I find it funny that the only person that has more that has a higher bounty on his head is the Maya the Siren, because she's a siren and there are only like 4 of them ever in the universe at a time. But Salvador has the second highest, and it's like cannibalism and just being absolutely insane.
Yeah. As Handsome Jack said, there are only 7 sirens at any given time. And
It's
I know
fewer than that.
No, it's 7.
Okay, fine.
He says there are only 7 at any given time, and I know where 4 of them are right now.
What? No, he says that there are only like 4 or 5 sirens, and I know where 2 of them are.
No.
1, 2, 3 of them.
That's what it is. 3. I know where 3 of them are right now.
Yeah. No, it's 5 and 3. It can't
It's
be
7. Go back and listen to it.
I call bullshit.
Go ahead. I've heard it a zillion times.
All right, Google machine, talk to me. Borderlands sirens.
I'm actually about 99% sure that I'm wrong, but I just want you to check anyway.
All right, fine. 6 sirens. So we were both wrong.
So he knows where half of them
Oh wait,
are.
I'm sorry. Oh, it's based off of Greek mythology. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
The 6 sirens. Interesting.
Good to know.
Only 6 sirens can exist at any given time. 3 are known. Lilith, Maya, and Angel. Spoilers!
Oh, yeah, okay, that's how he knows where 3 are. I'm thinking, who's the
Borderlands Origins Issue 2 confirms fan speculation that the Crimson Lance leader Commandant Steel was the 4th siren until her death.
Yeah, okay.
Interesting. Well, good to know. Based off Greek mythology. I like it. Those writers are so clever! Super smart!
Indeed.
I wish I was a siren. Then I could eat weird radioactive crystals and blow up worlds.
Iridium is the way of the future.
And now with all that being said, for mostly silent characters, there's quite a bit of character hidden in there.
Oh, yeah.
You just have to go search for it.
Well, yeah, I mean, Accent is really interesting that he has, like, a really interesting backstory, but, like, it's all through EchoCast, so...
Well,
you have to find them.
All of their actual backstories are through EchoCasts, except for the old Bolt Hunters. Because they're given character.
They're giving you back, yeah.
I read an interesting article about Borderlands, talking about protagonist, antagonist, and the concept of what's it called? The concept of the protagonist that doesn't really act like a protagonist.
Okay. Anti-hero?
Yeah, anti-hero. Thank you. Heroes and anti-heroes. And the interesting balance that was struck with the hero anti-hero thing, because really when you think about it, the characters that you're playing are, true anti-heroes. You're running around murdering hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. I mean, granted, they're bandits or they're psychos or, it's like, so it's like, okay, but, when you think about Jack, who's the villain, really the only thing that he's trying to do is take a completely manic and uncivilized world and turn it into someplace where people can live. I mean, if you change a couple of things and flip the game around, and suddenly Jack is looking like the hero of the story, but they endear you to a number of characters into the game, and you take all these side quests, which range from going and murdering specific people to starting a clan war between basically the Irishmen and southern backwater gross people.
Yep.
Like it's just you do all of these. You end up doing all of these awful things, for the sake of loot, because that's really what you're doing. These selfish things. But Jack keeps on pushing just the right buttons and doing just the right amount of things that you still feel like the hero. The first one being, the first big push was, you're going after Jack because he left you to die in a barren Arctic wasteland. So now we've got revenge. And then we've got, you meet a bunch of people and you're like, oh, I gotta save these people. But then you're doing all these side quests and doing all these horrible things. And then, boom, Bloodwing dies. It's like, okay, now you've re-cemented the fact that Jack is a bad guy. And we gotta go get him. So now you continue along the storyline and you go back to doing all these really pretty questionable things. And then, boom, Roland, the only truly upstanding character in the entire game who has completely selfless goals. He's really just trying to save a group of people. That's all he's doing. And now he's dead. And now you've cemented in the fact that Jack is the bad guy and you've got to kill him. If the game had gone on any longer than it did, you would have lost that drive.
Basically, it becomes you are the means justify the end, whereas Jack is the end justifies the means. No matter what it takes, he's going to civilize Pandora.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you're going to do whatever it takes to get Jack.
Well, I was going to say, or no matter what you do, or Jack, Jack was, he's going to do whatever it takes to get this one thing.
Yeah.
Whereas you are, no matter what you do, this one thing is going to happen.
Yeah.
Which is a weird, reversal, because it's like, ends justify the means. But it's not even like a means justify the end. It's just like there's it's more like despite the means, there's going to be an end that is this.
It's the ultimate battle: chaotic good versus lawful evil. Because technically, nothing Jack is doing is against any universal laws. There's no universal police coming after Jack for what he's doing. He is the authority. He's basically, you're raging against the machine.
Literally, sometimes.
Yeah. Well, Jack's favorite minions are all robots. This, Hyperion is the high-tech company. That's literally what it was. In the first game, it was the Dull Corporation, which was all, fucking mercenaries and foot soldiers and shit. And then Hyperion is, the high-tech, they got robots for everything. They don't,
awesome version.
It's only at the end you start seeing the engineers and commandos and shit. But up until that point, they just keep sending robots at you.
Yep.
Hoping that they'll be able to overwhelm you.
Yep. And then you start killing all their workers. Man, don't you feel good? I have a family. Even right at the near the very beginning, Claptrap, you killed them all. These had families and lives and children and lovers. I'm just kidding. Screw these guys.
They knew what they were getting into when they signed up. It's almost more. One of the more interesting thing was the after Sanctuary lifts off.
Yeah.
Go down in the pit, seeing all the old Dull stuff and listening to the echoes of what was happening in the crystal pit.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of horrifying because you suddenly realize that there are what is it? It works out to be 4 or 5 major galactic corporations, and they're all pretty much just as evil.
Oh yeah.
There's not it's not one is less evil than the other. They're all evil in their own unique way.
Yeah, yeah. They're all
about making money at whatever it takes.
Whatever the cost,
if they have to ravage a planet or enslave a people, as long as it makes them money, well, whatever. That's shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's oh my god, there are these mega corporations out there that are just they're all Hyperion. They're just nope, well, we're gonna do what it takes to make some money.
And that's why they can keep on making more Borderlands games. Dude, I can't wait for Borderlands 3. And just think, we're gonna get to go to an entirely new planet at this point. Well, planets.
I have a distinct feeling that 3 is gonna focus on, I'm not actually sure who the next corporation will be, but they'll pick one or the other.
Or all of them.
Well, technically, Dull is bankrupt. Hyperion is leaderless.
Yeah, Dull's bankrupt. Hyperion is leaderless. So we've got...
And it sounded like Hyperion is basically only held together by the fact that, Jack is basically Hitler. He's
Yeah.
charismatic enough to hold the entire,
So I'm trying to remember what some of the other companies are. We got like Pangolin or Pandolin.
We were in this game. We were left with what? Theodore.
Oh yeah,
Theodore.
Pangolin.
Which was Pangolin? I don't think they exist in 2, do they?
Well,
What's their specialty? What do their guns do? I know them all by their guns.
Actually, I think they're like shields and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. They only exist in defensive stuff.
Yeah.
Because the weapons are like Theodore. What's the guy? We've actually met the president. Torg.
Torg is awesome.
I actually don't think Torg is going to be the one that they'll.
Yeah,
pick.
no. Torg is not a bad guy.
Torg is just chaotic.
He's just really eccentric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the
I want you to blow up the ocean.
That was great.
Okay, Mr. Torg, you're banished to the stocks. To the stocks? Awesome! I've never seen you in person before. You're fucking beautiful. I can't believe that Torg is bisexual. That makes me happy for some
That was
reason.
good. I like Torg because he makes no excuses about killing his own people.
Oh yeah.
He's like, kill my guys! Blow them the fuck up!
It's what I paid him for. Or
Exactly.
something.
I have something along that line when you're in the Torg campaign. So something like, when you're in the stadium, when you're like sneaking around the stadium, something like, I paid my men to be test dummies, goddammit! Blow them up and show them what these weapons are made of! And you're like, okay.
Torg is,
Jacobs?
Jacobs, yeah. In the end, Torg is going to be like the one guy who's just like, this is what I do, this is what I am, and it's okay. I'm not hurting anybody except for the people that I kill. Or that I have other people kill. For my entertainment. Because it's awesome! Guitar solo!
I realized something. You know who's like the Google of all those companies? The people that make the super elemental weapons.
Malawar, yeah.
They're gonna be like the ultimate winner because like they don't technically exist as like a company. Like you can't buy their weapons. You can only acquire them from other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't buy their weapons from machines. Like, everybody else is like, the Coca-Cola type stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they're guns you can buy. They're marketed. They're like, our guns are special. You win them by killing horrible monsters. Like, I would actually like to know the background behind that company because, like, they're not marketing anything. They're not selling their weapons. You can't buy their weapons from anybody. They're, like, special.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of thought put into this game that I think goes over and beyond what most people would expect from what really seems like a weird cross between a first-person shooter and an RPG, but doesn't do either of them.
The first time I played it, you heard me say this like directly to both you and Ted.
Mm-hmm.
This is Phantasy Star Online. Like, legitimate.
Well, it's Phantasy Star Online. It's Diablo 3.
But it literally is basically, it's like if you made Phantasy Star Online today, that is what Borderlands is. I mean, with more humor, because it's well written instead of just being a generic Sega RPG. But like, that, it's, guns and shields and some basic melee stuff, but it's a lot of just guns and shields. And
I was really sad when I realized just that I had gotten sucked into what was essentially a Diablo 3 dungeon-style loot generator.
Yeah.
And then I stopped being sad because, God, it's fun.
I'm at the point now where I actually need new material to continue playing. Well, like, I haven't... Yeah. I played a little bit of Krieg, but I haven't jumped... Yeah. After, like, those first 2 or 3 runs, 2 or 3 times I sat down to play with Krieg, like, I haven't started again. I played the story too many times. Like, that was the whole thing. It's like, the reason I didn't buy Krieg was I'm just like, there's nothing, like, there's nothing I need him for that, like, I can't wait for him to go on sale. I'm tempted to mod him to level 30 and then play the new campaign with him at 30. I don't blame you. I mean, I think if I bought the Creek pack, I would probably just level him up to play a True Vault Hunter mode, and then just, or maybe you level him up enough to go to Ultimate and just play through Ultimate with him.
I actually, I need to go and like really play the DLCs because I've played like 80% of all the DLCs.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to remember. Big Game Hunter, I've played all of. I don't know if I've done all the side quests, but I've at least unlocked them and like kind of done some runs on almost all the side quests.
I think the only one I didn't play through all the side quests on was Torg. I don't think I finished all.
Yeah, Torg was a little bigger than the other. Well, yeah, than the other two.
Yeah.
That and the Captain Scarlet, like that DLC was just
strange.
Meh.
Yeah.
I don't know. It had if you just played the main DLC campaign,
yeah,
it was okay. But it lacked like some of the humor and the it kind of lacked the charm of a lot of the rest of the game.
Exactly.
Like you liked Scarlet, and she was fun, and you knew she was going to stab you in the back at some point. But really, it felt really run to point A, run to point B, run to point C. Oh, she stabs you in the back. You kill her dudes. Then you go and you kill her riding her mount, and she disappears. And then you go and kill the random big bad guy, the Leviathan, and then you get your treasure, and you're like, oh, that was great, I guess. I found a treasure.
Did I just have sex?
And like the Big Game Hunter. That
was really short if you didn't do any of the side missions.
Big Game Hunter was very short if you didn't do any of the side missions, and some of the side missions are actually like kind of hard.
I don't think I've done any of the side missions because like when I finally played it like myself, I think I had you and Ted, we blew through it like
less than 2 hours.
No, actually, no. It was we were doing the Invincibles runs.
Oh yeah,
on regular, and like we just like I'm like this is gonna take us a while because I got to that one and I'm like I don't know if I want to go further. Like just go. It's not long. And I'm like what? You're like it takes like half an hour to finish all the way to the end. And I'm like
if you just speed run everything, you can just.
We were done like half an hour. We had beaten Jackenstein. And we were done. I'm like. Oh my god!
See, and I actually liked that DLC, not the shortness wasn't great, but the character of the big villain, who was obviously not like the big villain Dr. mentality. Nakamura. He's just like, oh, I've got this cool thing, and I'm totally going to bring Jack back to life. You beat my plans, but you don't worry. I've got a backup in my thing over here. Oh, why did I tell you that? And then you go over there and you beat his big bad guy. He's like, oh, I still got a chance. I can be. And then he kills himself.
He falls down the
stairs. And it's like that. Like that particular moment just makes the entire DLC worth it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, here's the nerdy science guy. We're gonna have to fight him. Now he falls down the stairs and he dies.
It's like, oh, well, he's dead now.
Like that one felt right.
Yes.
That one felt right. I mean, that and Professor what's-his-face?
Nakamura?
No, I'm sorry, the gentleman scholar.
God, what is his name?
Sir Hammerlock.
Yeah, Sir Hammerlock.
Sir Hammerlock.
Like he's a British big game hunter, basically. That's his character type.
That DLC felt right. And Torg was just amazing.
Well, and I genuinely like the crazed Hunter S. Thompson proxy from Scarlet's the first one, the Pirate Adventure. Oh, the guy that's the last survivor of the town.
Yeah, in Oasis.
He's got this big ass maniacal grin. He's got the aviators and the fucking booty hat.
Mm-hmm.
I would be completely upset if everyone had died of thirst. That would be completely horrible.
Wow! Look at all the water underneath Oasis. Man, it's a good thing that we didn't all die from thirst up here. That would really suck if everyone had died from the lack of water in Oasis.
God. Such a crazy DLC.
Yeah. But, you know...
Like, it was fun.
But Torg hit, like...
He hit all the right spots.
It hit all the right spots. Every boss was unique, badass,
yes,
crazy. You had an antagonist that you like really, really wanted to hate, which was perfect. Well, actually, maybe that's the problem with Scarlet was you had no antagonist.
No,
there wasn't one. It was like, oh, you're finding the treasure. It's a treasure hunt.
And then she became the antagonist.
But she wasn't. You didn't hate her. You still liked her.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, God, now you're stabbing me in the back. Okay, take care of you. Go back, go away, whatever.
Yeah, and the next two had goofy villains.
Yeah, there was no... Oh, that was it. There was no antagonist. That's why Scarlet's campaign felt wrong. I feel better now knowing that.
Well, and the fucking zombie ninja robots.
Oh,
pirate robots or whatever. Shit. The ones that could suck your health. Yeah, fuck them. They're like, they only appear in that, and I'm just like the first time...
And they were harder than any boss.
Yeah, the first time Ted was like, watch out, they're pretty badass, and I'm like, what? They're just robots, whatever. That thing hits you and takes all your health, and I'm like, what the hell was that?
No, those things were harder than any boss.
Although it is absolutely hilarious when you're like super over leveled in normal mode and you go fight them, and they're like, pa, pa, pa. And you punch one and it just explodes. You're like, that was awesome. I did like that after getting a character to level 61 and then coming back and playing normal and then hitting like the first the level 10 or less. If you punch them, they just explode, like legitimately just explode.
Kerblamo. I
didn't actually like. That's what made me laugh so hard when you're watching the video and the wench Moxie tells you to go punch the guy.
Mm. Yes. Or no, that was Torg.
Yeah.
That is unacceptable. Go punch him so hard he explodes.
And all I could think of was the bullymongs and like literally just walking up and punching a bullymong and exploding in Gibbs. And I'm like, that did not just fucking happen. Because like as long as the level difference isn't big enough, like even if you're strong enough to kill them in one shot, they just fall over.
Yeah.
But if it's big enough, like if the level difference is big enough, and you hit somebody, even shoot them, they just explode, like a balloon. And
that's awesome.
And that to me was totally worth coming back.
I have to go do that now.
Yeah.
God damn it.
That's why I played through normal, because it was hilarious. Because literally all the way right up until you get to the warrior.
Oh my gosh! I could play Melee Siren.
Yes, you really can, because even with no shields
or Melee Zero,
they don't do any damage to you until they're above like level. I think it's like 25 is enough to actually start like if they hit you enough times, it starts taking your health down. But at that point, you should have a shield equipped, so it's like,
okay,
good luck. It's actually really funny when I made the hack character and started a new game with a hack character already maxed out. So you wake up level 61, and you don't. And even if you start with all the gear in your inventory, you don't get it until you. No, you couldn't start the game. You couldn't start a fresh character like hacked.
Yeah.
With gear, but.
Once you got to Sanctuary.
No. You could, the bank, if you have stuff in the bank, the bank is available from, Claptraps.
I thought that was only true after you got to True Vault Hunter mode.
Fun thing. If you have stuff in the bank, it will let you in even if it's normal mode.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
And it was totally amazing because I was like, how can I give myself all the best gear? And so I left it in the bank slot. And so, I loaded my guy with one really good gun, like a machine gun or an SMG, and then just, the shields and shit. And, it's hilarious to walk out and the first Bloodmong attacks you, and you have a shield with, 200,000 points, and your guy's got, 300,000 health points. It's like, you do one damage. Doop, doop, doop.
Fun. Break all the bosses' animations because you kill them in one hit.
You remember we were sitting and talking, and I'm like, and I'm now up to the giant robot, not the giant robot, the guy at the train, Heinrich. It's the you go when Tiny Tina blows up the train,
yeah.
you go up, and then the robot comes out of the ground.
Oh, I can't remember what that's called.
What is his name?
Because they keep on. It's like
she's always like, it's good that blah 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 isn't there because you'd really be in trouble. And all the original Vault Hunters are like, yeah, I couldn't even beat him. He's fucking badass. And I walked up and I had just like a standard pistol off of like one of the dudes I killed. I shot it once and it exploded just as he was coming out of the ground. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I swear it starts with an H. It's like a German name, like Heinrich or Himmler.
The end of part 3. Join us again in part 4. You are now listening to part 4 of episode 24 of the Super Happy Fun Abercrombie Party with Raven and Rose.
Are here.
Exactly.
That's awful. I can't remember.
Yeah, we heard it so many times. It's amazing we don't remember it. Because what is it, like Saturn, the guy, like the gigantic robot that's in...
That thing's sweet.
You can kill him in one shot. It's
What?
fun. Yeah, remember that? Yeah, I think you were
that's
with me.
right. We walked up. He's like, oh, I was running up to like battle with him, and you're like, oh, he's dead. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I was coming up the elevator. He dropped on top of the overpass. I'm just like, pistol, ba-doo! He just blew up, and you're like, that's stupid.
Son of a bitch!
Yeah, because like you and Ted were like screwing around in Firestone. I just ran directly to the elevator, went up and shot him, and like kept running. And I'm like, okay, I got the stuff. Let's go. And you're like, we've been here for like 30 seconds.
Yeah. Son of a bitch.
It's actually really hilarious to run through the game with a max level character and like all the stuff already unlocked, like all your like max gear, just like boop, 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 boop. Like I think I went through the entire like Arctic shelf in like 5 minutes.
Now I want to do that with an infinity pistol.
That is the most hilarious thing in the world, especially the max level ones that I've got.
Yeah.
If you could actually hack the attributes, that would be amazing.
Oh man. Yeah. Max attributes. I want a pistol that has perfect accuracy and shoots 99 bullets at a time.
Exactly. Well, even if you could go, like I said earlier in the week, if you could even go in and have like, you know, enough skill points to unlock all 3 tech trees for each character. Like I said, I mean, they could make it as simple as they'll give you the rest of the points when you finish, you know, I don't know, Ultimate Vault Hunter or something. Because it's like at that point you've done everything,
yeah, you've done
so
everything.
It's not like there's anything to lose by saying, "Here, you can have all the points."
Or at least if you have a character that's completed every quest.
Well, it's like I said, you just simply have when you know this character finishes Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, every character in that class made later can go all the way. So you just say, you know, just this stupid thing. You just say if you want that character class to be able to have, you know, maximum amount of points, then you just have to play through the entire game with a character in that class. And so really only the characters that you'd want to max out would get maxed out.
Right.
And
I think that, I mean, they've talked about that. I think it really just has to do with like balancing everything. They want the game to remain fun for multiplayer and stuff. I don't know. It's a different mentality, I guess.
yeah. See, because I was looking at the whole deal. It's like once you've done everything, giving you a ridiculous reward doesn't really break anything because when you've played through the game 3 entire times, you kind of really like played it to its full extent. And now you're just fucking.
We're
around.
beating the dead horse at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I get the whole like keeping it balanced, like
You can do the raid bosses once per day.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you were saying like earlier in the week about the whole so it doesn't screw it up for people who aren't there yet. But it's like you just kick the person out. You're like, look, you know what? We're not doing this. Like you gotta.
This is for max level players only.
Because I'm at the point now where like I don't even really want to level a character all the way back up like in a new class.
Oh no, it takes
so long. And that was the whole thing with Krieg. It's like I would not want to bother with leveling him up. I just want to put him at a certain level and start.
I mean, really, if we wanted to do that, if we wanted to do something like that for shits and giggles, we would go and do like the battle domes.
Yes.
We'd run like the creature arena multiple times or something.
Yeah.
Which I still haven't actually done the creature arena yet.
No.
Ted did it, but I've never bothered. And I hear that the Dragon's Keep creature arena is supposed to be the best creature arena that they've made.
I imagine.
I just remember the horrible times of doing Mad Moxie's and Mad Moxie's arena in the original Borderlands.
Okay.
My God, that was hell. So hard.
Because like the one in the Nexus is pretty nasty too.
Yeah, one's
if
pretty...
you're over leveled, it's not bad. But if you're doing it when you're supposed to, it's like like you Ted and me, like it was we got our asses handed to us after a certain point. Like it was we actually had that strategy.
It was hard, but no, the Mad in the original Borderlands, like they made the arena like ridiculously long and ridiculously hard with like almost no reward.
God.
It was really just like a masochist run. You did it just because
you could.
You could do it. Oh, a badass. But once you did it once, you're like never again. It's just not. It was just not worth it.
Honestly, you would laugh, random fucking gas. Oh God, I'm so sorry. Oh God, green chili. I tell you what. Chili. My mom was enjoying the fact that this was the last not full week, but the last full week of school because she's got 1 day of classes on Monday and then an hour on Tuesday, and then the kids go to mass and then they're home. They're done.
Wow.
And then she's just got 2 or 3 days of meetings and stuff, and then cleaning her room up, and she's done for the year and summer off, and I'm super happy because she needs a break.
Break sounds good.
So we were like, my dad's like, where do you want to go for dinner? My mom's like, Taco Bell. It's like, how about Zantigo's? She's like, I like that even better. I'm like, cool, Zantigo's.
Marks, people. Come on.
What?
Spend the money.
Oh.
Good
There's been a place called Marks. I'm like, what?
There's a place called Marks.
Oh.
Downtown.
Oh, okay.
It's still my favorite restaurant in Minnesota.
Cool.
Fusion Bistro.
Oh, yeah. It's okay.
It's expensive, but oh my God, is it worth it?
I remember you talking about it multiple times.
I'm kind of a gastrophile.
Are you a gastrophile?
I like to bore holes in the watermelons.
Hey, that's my spiel.
I know, sorry.
My shtick.
I'm sorry.
It's my shtick, and I'm going to beat the dead horse with it.
You were sorry. You were talking about raw steaks and masturbating. So
oh yeah,
I thought that I could steal the watermelon joke for a while.
I didn't know that the raw steaks and masturbating was your joke. I'll keep that in mind from now on.
God damn it! Well done. Good turnaround.
You did it to yourself. I'm just over here okay, if you want that to be the joke, that's fine.
Meat slapping meat.
Well, with your special marinade. True power comes from within inside.
I like marinating my protein with protein.
It's your special sauce.
I think we're done here.
I'm so going to hell. I'm driving the tour bus to hell at this point.
I don't envy your editing of this.
Nope.
I'm surprised you're editing this. I'm surprised you're not just sending this to Kiki and saying, good luck!
I'm kind of tempted to send it to her and say, edit it the way you feel would be best.
She's just going to be like, what the fuck is this crap?
Exactly.
Masturbation?
Oh, yeah.
Cooking
obviously,
tips?
obviously.
Restaurants? Kombucha and bourbon? Borderlands?
This is probably the most I've talked for a show in a long time because I love Kiki. She's the best co-host in the world, but it's like pulling teeth trying to get her to talk. Like, legitimately. I'm sorry, Kiki. It's true. You do not like to talk. You like to provoke me into talking about stuff, and so there's never anything to talk about because you're just like, okay.
On a scale of 1 to 10, have an opinion, damn it.
Well, she does. She just doesn't like. I'll be talking about something.
Okay, fine. Expound upon your opinion, and play Borderlands 2 because it's fucking fantastic.
It's like last week. I was talking about Space Pirate Mito, and I'm like, oh, it was pretty cool. It dealt with gender roles and blah blah blah, and I went on, and I'm like, and what do you think, Kiki? And she's like, yes, that's very good. And I'm like, you're killing me.
Yes, it's very good.
Kiki, you're breaking my balls. I'm only kind of exaggerating,
but it involves stiletto heels. Sorry. Ow! I just thought about that.
It's more like poking my balls than breaking them. Breaking them would be like putting them in a vice and squeezing.
I just thought about that too. Oh. Steve and Larry were the masters of masochism.
I think
that's probably the best song I've ever written.
You know what's sad? I've actually referenced that. I can't remember if it was last episode or a couple back, but Kiki was giving me crap about like not having much to say, and I was like, damn it, Kiki, how many times are you going to put me through this crash course of masochism?
Yes!
No one got this joke.
Yeah, of course not.
Except for the few people who have seen our failed LPing attempt and understand where the joke is coming from.
Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken and a Pizza Hut, Pizza Hut, Pizza Hut. It's fine work.
Colonel Sanders is trying to take over the world
with his army
of mutant frogmen
and the geese. I really wish I could go back and rewrite that. It's just.
It was good. It was good.
It was good. You're like, it was good.
It was like the best thing we ever produced.
That's not saying much.
We were just so lazy. They were going to do that Legend of Zelda rap, and I just kind of like,
Yeah. Oh well. I don't mind.
I actually don't either. At some point this spring, I considered picking Final Fantasy IX back up, and I was just like, you know what? No.
Let the dead horse lie.
Yes. I'm still working on my backlog of anime, and there's more coming because I've made pre-orders all the way through September.
Yeah, it's hard to find. It's hard to find time for me at this point to do a lot of stuff. I'm working long hours.
Yeah.
I now have the writing gig with ForgeWatch.com.
Yeah, I understand.
Which has been, hasn't been awful, but like I'm in a rut.
Yeah,
I'm in a writing rut. I have an article that I'm trying to write that I'm very purposefully trying to insert concepts.
Giant robots.
Well, right, but there's the giant robots thing, which is just funny and mostly to annoy my editor. But I'm trying to insert some like actual gaming concepts, like costing in the game Soulforge.
Yeah.
Because unlike like Magic the Gathering, where every card has a clear cost at the top right of the card, Soulforge you just have 2 plays a turn. There's no cost to a card, but there is like an opportunity cost to playing a card.
Yeah.
Like, how strong is the card in the early game? What about the mid game? What about the late game? This card that's really, really weak in the early game could be devastating in the late game. What is your cost of playing that card now in order to get that effect later? Yeah. Like, like that. This is a concept that needs to be explored, and then more importantly, there's an article written in 2002 by a magic article by Michael J. Flores.
Okay.
And it's still considered to be probably the most important Magic the Gathering article ever written, entitled "Who's the Beatdown?" And the concept is that there, in any given game, there is an aggro, an aggressive, and a control. And even if the two decks that are playing, unless they are exactly the same, there is still going to be an aggro and a control. And even if the decks are exactly the same, there is still an aggro and a control based on how their hands are, what hands they draw. Because one hand, statistically, is going to be more aggressive than the other person's hand. So you have to figure out what role you are playing in that game. And if you misassign your role in what you're supposed to be doing, you're going to lose. And in Soulforge, where there is combat, there's forced combat every turn. You have no choice. Everything attacks every turn. If you misassign your role, you're dead. You're dead.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Ron Weasley. So I'm sorry. So I have all of these great concepts, and I've done research. I know quite a bit about all this, but focusing these kind of fragmented thoughts and getting them into a readable article is being it's very difficult right now, and I'm not sure if I need to kind of toss it and make light mention of it and kind of go back to the 6-paragraph form that I've been writing these articles in, because they're the card previews. They fit really nicely into a certain form where I get to insert some useful tidbits while still being able to say, get the X number of things that you need to know that fit within the form, and then have a spot where I can insert this cool stuff, or do I want to actually make a really fantastic article and kind of explore these concepts a little more and give people more insight into the game that they're actually playing.
Yeah.
And the article, the Who's the Beatdown article, this deserves an article in and of itself for Soulforge. The Soulforge Who's the Beatdown article. I might not be the one who should write it, but it does deserve its own article.
Mm-hmm.
And, costing itself it probably deserves its own article, but I feel like that I can sketch these concepts in this article, since I have a great example of a card for both of these concepts.
Yeah.
So I'm fighting with that right now.
Well, it's God, I don't know what. 2 months ago, I was going to write my article on Pat Labor, the TV series for Pat Labor.
Yeah,
it's really great. It's basically like an '80s. Anyone who's an anime fan who's seen Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, it's a procedural police drama with robots.
Excellent.
But instead of being spider tanks, they're actual bipedal. Mobile suit robots.
Oh, right. Okay.
What happens when 20-foot tall bipedal robots become a norm, for construction, for transportation, and you need police officers who are equipped with the same. You have these units that are, there's a couple of them in the Tokyo area that have these gigantic, armed with giant robot-sized firearms, not laser cannons or anything, but actual legitimate gigantic revolvers and shotguns and pistols and crazy shit like that.
30mm cannons.
Literally, it's a revolver that shoots a 30mm round.
Boom.
No, pretty much. They've got stun batons, giant stun batons, so they can stick it into the neck of the robot they're dealing with and take it down by basically shocking it into submission.
Nice.
And it's a really great show, and I really liked it, but I just have no fucking clue how to even and partly time too. I come home after work and I'm just kind of I could write that, or I could sit and watch YouTube until I fall asleep. And most of the case, it's been time I'm most productive is like mid-afternoon after I get off of morning shift, and it's like I could sit down and write something, or I could take a nap. Since I could take a nap, so I take a nap, and then it's like dinner time, and I'm like, oh, I'll have some dinner, and then I'll write, and then I'm like, or I could play video games. I think I'll play video games. Because it's just like, I was originally doing it to fill time while Kiki was taking care of family business so that we still had content going up. So it's once a week, but it was at least something. And then we started doing these, and then the stuff I was going to review ended up being Kiki asking me about it and doing like a little bit of a spiel, but then it was like not as good as the reviews because like Kiki has seen a lot of the stuff I've been watching, but she's also like she doesn't have much to say.
Right.
Like I get really into like trying to analyze like, you know, like different messages that the shows could have. Like Space Princess Mito, it's very standard generic like space adventure, but there's all this stuff about, you know, this main character is a fictional boy, and his mother is the Space Princess Mito, a space pirate Mito, and it turns out that their species or her species has no sex until puberty, and then they go back and forth. That was really interesting, and it dealt with all these gender roles, like, you know, what is love, you know, what...
Baby, don't hurt me.
Oh, no, it was this crazy stuff about, like, you know, when he's shifting between the sexes, his mother has no problem because she's from that species. She's like, honey, I love you either way. You're my son, you're my daughter, it doesn't matter. But he was dating a girl at the same time, and he looks at her and he's all like, oh my god, you know, he's thinking in his head like she's not going to love me anymore, and she's like, I love you for you.
You're dating a woman. I can't love you anymore unless you go and pick me up White Castle after you go out drinking. Then it's okay.
Well, that's pretty much, it was just like, she's just like...
Sorry, that's a Ted story.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, his mother, or one of his mothers.
Oh God, got you. All right.
You know, all of Ted's mothers are lesbians.
Oh yes.
But one of his mother, when he started going out and partying and drinking, he would, if he came home really late, he would be in huge trouble unless he brought home White Castle with him.
God.
And then it was okay.
Oh my God, that's kind of hilarious. It was like, you know, every other review I read of the show was just like, well, you know, it's a standard space romp, you know, very generic, not much to say. And I'm like, there's a lot to say. It deals with what happens when, you know, sex roles are reversed or are not defined. Like, his mother and his aunt were both born basically physically girls, and his aunt remained a woman but wanted to become a man. She felt like she was a man, but when the dice wheel fell and her sex was assigned, she remained a woman. And there was all this stuff about she feels like behaviors, way she dresses, like a man, but she's physically a woman. He feels like a boy, but is physically a woman. Like, that's where he ended up getting jumbled. He ends up having female sex organs, and he's like, but he was born a man, and he feels like a man, and it's like, there's this, like, I feel like this was a really important message that was just, like, completely lost on people. Like, it's a silly show, and it is. It's a very silly comedy show. But there's all this stuff about...
But there's some good commentary within that. Within that show.
And it's like...
Commentary within the commentary.
Serene said somebody was working out their sexual identity problems in the show. They were being silly about it, but they were working out sexual identity in the show.
Well,
like,
good comedy is a lot of times based on political and societal commentary.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it's funny. We're taking a very serious subject and we're giving it a twist.
Yeah.
And it allows you to laugh but still think about it.
Yeah. And the whole deal was all this stuff was secondary.
That's why
black comedy.
Yeah, black comedy is so good. The Lewis Black,
George Carlin,
Sam
Kinison, Bill Hicks. Bill Hicks is the very definition of black stand-up.
Oh my god.
Like,
So dark.
he's legitimately, and he said, in his interviews, he's like, I hate the audience. I hate the audience. That's my job.
God,
I
you
hate
guys-
the audience. I'm telling you what horrible people you are for electing these assholes to office and allowing them to live
God,
and to
you guys are the
control
worst.
you.
God, you guys are the worst audience I've ever had. Like, seriously, dead out there. Should I just start digging graves now?
Yeah, it's something along that line. It's
So
just
a
like,
plagiarist walks up to him like, things you've never heard said before. Woman, stop sucking my dick or I'll call the police.
Okay.
That was Carlin.
Oh. I think I've heard that sketch.
Really?
No.
Oh.
What CD is that off of?
I don't remember, but it was
Okay.
his list of things that you've never heard a person say before.
It must be old. I have all this modern stuff. I don't think I have anything from before, 1990, so that's probably one of the old
Watch
CDs.
me while I cut my dick off and stick this red hot poker straight up my ass.
Well, that is from the 70s. I've heard that one. I think that's from his show in the 70s. Like when he reinvented himself into being, super out there Carlin. Like, not family-friendly Carlin anymore.
Family friendly.
No, dude, have you ever watched his original stuff? He
Uh,
was clean-cut and family-friendly.
Weird.
I'm not even kidding. Like,
I listened
his first appearance on Johnny Carson in, the 1950s, dude, he is,
No, I only listened to the couple of albums that were on Groove
Yeah.
Shark.
It's not. There were no albums of this shit. This was live appearances and just stand up in little clubs.
Huh.
It is the most awe-inspiring thing to realize that he looked at it and said, "I am a fucking shill for the man, and that is sad. I'm not doing this anymore." And in the 70s, he came out and he was just he's 7 dirty words.
Oh,
and,
that was
all the
yeah.
all the crude shit that was just beyond the fucking pale at that
Okay,
point. in time.
interesting George Carlin story, which kind of ruins the story by saying it's a George Carlin story. There was a I believe he was an African American comedian. I'm not positive.
Sure.
He was, but he was. This was at a time when it was actually illegal to, when you do comedy, to curse, to
Blue laws, or not blue laws. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
to curse, to dirty sex jokes, it was
Yeah, to keep it
illegal to
clean.
do. It was illegal to do this on stage when performing.
Yeah.
And there was, I believe he was an African American comedian. I'm not positive on that, and I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
But he was one of the first people to really just ignore these laws. He'd go
Yeah.
up and he'd do the comedy he wanted to do,
Yeah.
and people loved it. And one time, I don't remember where he was performing at a pretty big theater.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I don't think it was like Carnegie Hall or anything, but it was.
Yeah.
It was like a big theater.
Yeah.
And there was a crackdown. Like, the cops came, they lined up everybody. They, everyone's like, well, your IDs. They pat searched everybody because obviously, if you're at this bad, dirty comedian, you probably have drugs on you or something.
Yeah.
But there was one person in the audience who refused. He's like, I'm just here watching a show. No, I'm not. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not giving you my ID. No, I'm not cooperating. I am not doing this. And he and the comedian were arrested. That one person was George Carlin.
Exactly.
And that was where he decided
That might have been
that
Richard
and that was
Pryor.
where he decided to become a comedian.
God, that's got to be way, way back then.
Yeah.
Because, he was a comedian. Yeah. that would have been, the 1940s.
Yeah.
That wasn't Richard Pryor.
Long time ago.
That's way back. Because he was a comedian from, 19 on. Age of 19 on. He
Yeah.
was, a professional comedian from that point on. He was the longest living and performing comedian in modern times. He was a comedian for 60 or 70 years. That's no one has ever come close to that. There's not another comedian alive who's even close, because a lot of them didn't start till they were late 20s, early 30s at the
Yeah.
latest, and he was professional, not just trying, but actually was making the rounds at 20, and he lived to be I think in his late 80s before he finally died. And it was just they were talking about like the VH1 or Comedy Central. I think it was Comedy Central did like the 100 greatest comedians of like modern time, and they were like, there are all these people, and there are all this stuff, and I kept thinking like, God, I wonder who number one is. And they finally came to it. They're like, and he was like a commentator on this like special.
Yeah.
Like the guy, the main narrator comes out. And he's like, George, we picked you as number one. He's like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? How the hell am I number one? They're like, well, George, the next nearest person is Bill Cosby, and he's only been a comedian for 40 years. You're above 60. So, yeah, we can't think of anyone better. You're the godfather of modern comedy. There's no one who's done it all. You've done everything. There's nothing you haven't done that someone else hasn't tried to replicate. So, yeah, we're naming you number one. You people are fucking crazy. I'm going to get a drink.
Oh my god. I love George.
I'm not doing it justice. He's far more eloquent than that.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, it's like, the fuck are you smoking? I can't remember. I think he said like, he's like, give it to Dangerfield or something. They're like, George, he's been dead for 5 years. I don't give a shit. Give it to him posthumously. Fuck it.
Fuck it.
I just love like the last couple. He just got so incredibly crude. Started talking about like bodily functions and shit. It's like, wow. But yeah, back to my original thought. It kind of makes me sad that I was doing a really good job. Like I was managing to. I mean, they weren't like the weekly articles weren't always great, but they were at least like decently put together.
Yeah.
I just hit this wall with Pat Labor, and I just wasn't sure. I had like the first opening paragraph done. That was my original plan for this week when Kiki said that she had stuff going on. I was going to try to get that put together, but with all the crap going on, I just never got to it. Like all of a sudden today, I was driving around anime hunting, and I was like, crap, I was going to do that. Oh wow, tough shit.
Yeah.
That problem is the EDT. Like, I start watching shit, and I get like 5 minutes in, I'm like, I gotta go do something else.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that I can ever suggest is do more reading. Like, the only reason why I feel like the only reason that I'm able to manage these gaming articles that I write, was because when I was super into Magic the Gathering, I read literally every article put out on 5 major websites for 3 years straight.
Gotcha.
Every article, 5 days a week.
I gotcha.
Like, that's a lot of writing, and I wasn't writing myself. The first article that got published on Forge Watch was the second article that I had written in 5 years, and the first one that I had written in 5 years was the original article submission that I sent as I know that you guys aren't going to publish this, but this is my audition piece for your site. Yeah. And they read it and they hired me on the spot.
Yeah. Well, that was my whole thing. It's not that I'm incapable of writing. It's just like I think the part of the problem is I'm not really sure where I started as kind of a joke, just basically me venting about the stuff I'd been watching because I couldn't vent to Kiki because she was busy. But then it became this thing of like I was really enjoying kind of like academically dissecting the show and trying to bring out what I thought were like its hidden values, like not necessarily even like thematic stuff, but just like why even if I thought it was dumb, even if I thought it was like, a terrible show, it was mediocre at best, but there was something
Final
about
Fantasy
it.
Unlimited.
Yeah, even if it was dumb, it had some redeeming quality that allowed me to sit down and say, well, this... And the thing was, like, Final Fantasy Unlimited, I started trying to say why I thought it was worth watching, and I got to the point where it's like...
No, it's not.
Like, one or two paragraphs in, I just realized, I'm like, this show is actually god-awful terrible. Yeah. They had... What makes it valuable is that they had great intentions, and this is proof that even with the best intentions, you can fuck that pooch so bad that, whether it be executive meddling or just, good intentions gone awry, you can fuck that dog
Yeah.
so bad that it's just an unrecognizable mess that has all the flash and none of the value.
And Rick will come after you and murder you.
Pretty much.
And that's the thing is you found the thread, and it sounds like, and from what you were saying before, it sounds like your thread in Pat Labor isn't necessarily anything about the show. It's about how did people miss the important commentary on these gender roles. So
You mean Space Princess Mito?
Sorry again.
Space Princess Mito was the one with the gender roles. Pet Labor is like
it's the procedural police comedy.
Law and Order.
I'm sorry, whatever.
It's a procedural crowd drama.
Ignore me on that. So
yeah, sorry.
My bad.
No worries. I think what the end thread I'm going to end up writing about, which everyone will see probably within the next week because I actually have some time this week to work on it, is that basically what made Pat Labor good with 20 years and plenty of technological advancement and the ability to animate, or ways we can animate more cheaply with better quality, led to what made Ghost in the Shell amazing, like a one-of-a-kind, hit.
Yeah.
It struck, like, Pet Labor came really close. It has the same values that it embodies, like, almost all the same, like, literally, like, when I'm watching it, like, I watched the first couple episodes, and it's a little more, like, less serious, less serious than Ghost in the Shell, and more kind of hokey and fun and campy, and just kind of, like, it was earlier, it's late 80s, Japan's doing really well, it's not as, the world economy isn't as dark.
Right.
The world, like, actual way, like, how the world is doing in the late 80s is really optimistic compared to, like, how pessimistic it's become by 2005 when Ghost in the Shell comes out. And it's like this whole deal of they both have the same set of values, and they're both employing the same basic ideas about a lot of things. Ghost in the Shell gets a little more philosophical, but that's more the guy who wrote it. Like, he's more about, like, what is life? What is the meaning of life? Why are we here? What are we doing? Whereas it was more like Pet Labor was more just like, what is law? What is justice? What is right? What is wrong? Is it the spirit of the law or is it the letter of the law? But what it really ended up being was Pet Labor was really popular. Like, it wasn't a no-name show, but it got lost with time because the generation that watched it originally are much older and they're not as vocal, and the new people will remember the procedural cop drama with robots as being Ghost in the Shell. And the advancement in technology left it with a much more shiny look. They have, computers, computers to animate shit like the giant robots and the stuff like with their high-speed chase. They're doing it all on a computer so that they don't have to animate, 30 seconds of really complicated, like, chasing in this big complex, tank that's chasing after, one of the little, like, spider robots. It ends up being basically, they both have the same idea, but because there was more advancement in technology, Ghost in the Shell ended up being the clear, like, will probably be the remembered for a long, long time, even 20 years from now, as a clear winner of, like, how to put a show together, only because the technology had come far enough that they could, it's kind of like all the different ways they tried to attack Lord of the Rings as a movie or a television show. Like, how do you adapt it? And nobody could quite get it right. And with enough time, we got the Lord of the Rings movies, and it actually
clicked.
Hit that mark.
Yeah. We were able to, with enough budget, we were able to do it. Technology
Advanced far enough along that we could legitimately adapt the movie or adapt the books into movies, and they were actually, acceptable. They weren't god awful, not like the Bacon and
that sounds so. That sounds like a kind of sort of backhanded compliment to some of the greatest fantasy movies ever made.
Well, think about stuff like Star Wars. It's a traditional damsel in distress.
Yeah.
It's the standard, Paige becomes a knight, saves the princess.
Yeah.
type movie, set basically
In
made
the
with
future.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, in the past. In the far past, in a galaxy far, far away. Star Wars, A New Hope.
That's true.
And I think that's really the thing. It's this mystical, magical, like, romance fantasy, but it's set in outer space in the far past. What? And they did it on, like, no budget. Like, the later movies had, like, second and third movie had a bigger and bigger budget, but the first movie was basically made on nothing. And it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they did an incredible job.
There's no technology. There's no ILM yet, so there's no, like, you know, all the models and stuff are really, you know, hacked together, kind of, you know, they did the best they could. Later on, you know, we get, like, by Return of the Jedi, we have these crazy ILM models because, you know, Lucas has made enough money that he's developed Industrial Light and Magic into the, you know, the powerhouse that it is. There's just this, like, I don't even know what to say, like, you kind of get the feeling that part of what fucked Star Wars as they went on was that George Lucas became, like, more and more powerful. Like, the heart was lost to the amount of money he could throw at a project.
Yeah.
It's like Indiana Jones.
They say restriction breeds creativity.
Well, it forces you to really consider what you're going to do, not just be like, I want to do this, and I have the money to do it, so we're going to do it.
Let's make Jar Jar Binks.
What's like...
You can replace R2-D2 and C-3PO as the comedic part.
Exactly.
It'll be wonderful.
Because we won't see
He's
them...
fully animated.
Yeah.
Because we can.
Because we won't see either of them until halfway through the fucking movie.
I am the $13, $27, $24, $25 gangsta.
Okay.
Nobody can agree how much money that gangsta is holding.
Oh, gotcha. But I mean, it's like, there's proof that a lot of money can breed a really cool movie or adaptation. But it's like, at the same time, you have to apply it in the right ways so that you end up with something decent.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Well, we even look at the Marvel movies.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Huge, gigantic, super inflated budgets. But they are good movies. I mean, the only ones that have fucked up and died are the Hulk movies. All the other ones have been at least mediocre.
Hulk is hard to do right.
Well, the Hulk needs to be a TV series, not a movie.
Yeah, I can see that.
You could do that again.
I'm going to put the salsa away.
You should put the salsa away.
He puts the lime in the coconut and drinks it all up.
Exactly.
She puts the lotion on the skin or she gets the hose again.
Cough, splutter.
Kafka.
Eat your heart out, Kafka. It's not just a spaceship, it's a transformer. Eat your heart out, Kafka.
Did you watch any of the recent epic rap battles of history?
I completely forgot about it, dude. Seriously.
Yeah, they just finished season 2? 3? 2?
I don't even remember what the last one I saw was.
Oh, there's actually a couple of fantastic ones. Let's see. Bill Gates versus Turtleneck Dude.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I've actually seen that one.
Okay. They had one where they just kept it was, I don't remember who it was, but it was like one evil dictator versus another evil dictator, and then like another evil dictator would pop up and be like, no, I'm more horrible, and do his thing, and then another one, and then another one, and then another one.
That
was
one
like,
I
great.
missed. That sounds... Yeah.
I think that was one of the newest ones. Like, that one was fantastic. Kirby Puckett versus Lance Armstrong?
Wow.
I think?
Sounds right.
And that one was great. Especially since when I heard, I think it was Kirby Puckett. Maybe that's because I'm from Minnesota that I'm saying Kirby Puckett, but it was...
Maybe Sammy Sosa?
No.
No, it would have been, I bet... I think I assume they were going with the doping shit, so it could be like Barry Bonds or...
No. He's a fat white guy. a chubby white guy, you know, because like old time baseball players, you know, kind of. This was like
Babe Ruth?
Babe Ruth. There we go.
Oh, Babe Ruth versus...
Babe. I'm sorry, Kirby Puckett. What the fuck am
I was like, Kirby Puckett's a black guy from Chicago originally. Like,
wait, Kirby Puckett's black?
yeah.
I honestly have no idea.
Oh, yeah, Kirby Puckett was black. Like, he's from Chicago.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad that I don't know anything about sports. Baseball is the one where you kick the ball through the net, right?
Yes. I thought it was the one where you played full contact with big sweaty men.
Full contact and rollerblades.
I thought that was American Gladiators.
Yeah, I know nothing about sports.
I kind of miss American Gladiators. It was actually a lot of fun on Saturday mornings.
I played volleyball. That's the extent of my sports knowledge. And for backyard American football, I'm not a bad running back. That's about it. I know that I know that Randall Cunningham was a quarterback for the Vikings at some point. He was my favorite player.
I always get yelled at by people because they don't know anything about any sports. They're always asking me about, like, did you see the game? And I'm like, no. Why not? Because I don't give a fuck.
I always say yes, and then I always say yes, and then start talking about the last Magic Pro Tour, and everyone looks at me confused. And then they never ask me about it again. It's perfect. It's like the best thing you can do.
That's probably the way to do it. I just always like, really?
You know what you really? I mean, if you really wanted to be nerdy, you'd go and look up some League of Legends terminology.
Yes.
And then start talking about juggling, and I know nothing about League of Legends either. It's just something that I haven't gone and looked into yet. Like, oh yeah, I carried my team down the lane and was juggling their jungler, and you're like, oh, okay. I put your team on my back. He didn't do it for Madden.
God. Do it for men. I'll just never forget. Every time somebody talks about Madden, I always think of that really stupid video of like the teams, not TeamSpeak, but like the like when the computer, like you write stuff, the computer speaks it. I can't think what they call that.
Well, I know there's I jokingly
like text to speech.
Yeah, text to speech is usually what they call it. I like calling it robot voice.
Yeah.
People who have no technical know-how call it Siri.
Oh God.
That's right. I went there.
But it's like there's that NASA game on Steam, like Operation Moonbase or something. I downloaded it because it's free.
Yeah.
It's actually not bad, but I always remember because of the John Madden. I don't remember anything more than that, but I just remember like the dude typing repeatedly, John Madden.
Did all your base belong to us?
I have no idea.
Okay.
That game actually requires, like, I tried playing it by myself. You can't actually complete it for points by yourself. You need help. It's way too fucking hard.
Weird.
Yeah, and it scales up. So if you have like a team of 4 or 6 people, like, there are more things wrong with the base when you get to it.
Huh.
If you go by yourself, there's like 2 or 3 things wrong. So if you budget your time right, you can actually you may not be able to fix the entire base, but you can fix it enough that the people don't basically suffocate from lack of air production.
Okay.
So you can buy yourself time. You get enough stuff running so that it at least stops the loss of oxygen in the base. But if you come back with like 6 people, like everything is broken, and so you have to like fix like the solar arrays, and you have to like run around the entire crater that the base is in, like turning stuff on and hooking like these big ass like conduit wires up to make stuff work. And
okay.
It actually looked like it was a lot of fun to play on a team, but I was like, oh my God.
Becky, look
At her butt. It is so big.
Well, I'm Radrin.
And I'm Bones, and I think we've run out of things to talk about.
So, fuck you. Fuck you. Be excellent to one another. Party on, Wayne.
This is Bones. Hopefully I'll be back next week with Kiki. Otherwise, we'll do this again.
Thank you once again for listening to this wonderful episode of the Super Happy Fun Gamatron Party with Raven and Bones. Goodbye.